What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Terror Table, a horror movie podcast that's presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts that you hear every single week. My name is Mitch Oliver, and with me, as always, I got my boy.
Hi, I'm Buzi.
Buzi is here, and today we are welcoming a very special guest to continue our, I guess this is a series that we said was going to be ongoing, but as you might know with The Terror Table, if we ever say that we're going to do something, there's a chances are we're going to be pretty shoddy with it.
We're going to do it just on our own time.
Exactly. Basically, The Terror Table is always going to be whatever it's going to be, because we're trying our best here. But we had initially said that we want to do triple features, each movie that suits one topic of film, to one type of subgenre. And each of us, Buzi, myself, and our chosen guest is going to choose a film from this specific subgenre. This week, we're talking about monster films, and we knew we needed to bring on our, I guess this is the second time. Is this the second time you've been on?
Yeah, this is the second time. So, yeah, I'm back. you invited me back, which was very nice.
Oh, of course. No, we've been so excited to welcome back Lindsey Wilkins of the Schlock and Awe podcast. How are you doing, Lindsey?
I am doing very well and was getting very distracted by Buzi's very grey bundle.
Dr. Loomis.
Getting ear scratches.
That's it. She's talking about his kitty, Buzi's kitty, Dr. Loomis.
I don't know what's wrong with him lately, but he's like way more cuddly. Like usually when I'm podcasting, he'll leave me alone. But
well, it's because he knows Michael's dead.
Yeah.
Or at least the end of Michael is coming. He shot him six times.
He's building up anticipation.
He really is. He knows he shot him 6 times, so he needs to know if he needs to shoot him a 7th.
Yep. And he's been told, he's like, okay, Halloween ends. That's the next one. Okay. Whew.
Yeah. How do you start a title after that? Halloween didn't truly end.
Michael's
That'll be the next one.
Yeah, Michael's not coming back, hopefully, this time.
Hopefully.
Well, they've already done Resurrection, so we can't do another.
Yeah. We all know that Michael's going to be back. And yeah, I would give it 6 years time.
I want to say a decade.
I would love to say that, but not to get off topic. We are talking about monster films today. Today is our monster mash, where each of us chose one singular monster movie from a separate decade from the other choices. So I chose the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and Buzi chose
Prophecy
from 1979, and Lindsey Wilkins chose
Clive Barker's NIGHTBREED from 1990.
Yeah, so we got I already screwed this up. Yeah, Beast is from 50s, Prophecies from the 70s,
isn't it?
Yeah, and Prophecies from 79.
Yeah.
And Barker's NIGHTBREED is from 1990.
Yes, 1990. Yes.
I was gonna say, I feel like you can't even just call it NIGHTBREED. It's like it has to be Clive Barker's NIGHTBREED. He owns it.
It really.
He's letting you watch it.
Debatably which one we're talking about, though, because there's many versions of NIGHTBREED.
I know.
I noticed that. Yeah.
I had a quick watch of the theatrical today because I went, oh shit, of course I chose the one with multiple friggin' things.
Yeah.
Shit, quick.
No, it might be interesting when all of us may have watched a different version, because there are now 3 different versions of NIGHTBREED. But either way, this is just very exciting. We're very happy to welcome you back, Lindsey. You're one of our favorite guests to have on the show. And, I'm a huge fan of Schlock and Awe. I've been on your show a couple times now, and it's always a fun time. And you've been doing such a good job of keeping up with that show and bringing on amazing guests and talking about amazing and not so amazing films all at once. Like it's a great show. So if you haven't listened to Schlock and Awe, definitely give it a listen. But I want to give you this time to kind of explain your show to listeners of the Terror
Explain
Table.
Yourself.
Yeah. Yes, this is my thesis of life. No, Schlock and Awe is a double feature podcast where I try to, as Mitch said, great movies and not so great movies, and just treat them all as great, I guess. No, it sort of started off as like a high and low premise, like what you would consider like a low movie, or then a highbrow movie. And then it kind of just evolved into something else completely. But no, I love pairing movies of different genres of.
So do you have a criteria for mixing them?
No, I thought I was going to start doing it like literally B movie with A movie, but now it's just evolved into, hey, what if we just do something from the 1920s and compare it to something from the 1990s? Or
I really like that though, because you get to see that whole scope of how much things have changed and also haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, have a suggestion for an episode, if
Oh,
that works.
yes. Yes.
So we could take a masterpiece like, say, Morbius, and mash it up with a giant piece of shit like Citizen Kane or something. Like that could be
Exactly. Yes.
You know that like
That would absolutely work.
YouTube auto translates that, so that's now in writing somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes.
Someone update the Wikipedia pages. Morbius better than Citizen Kane.
Exactly. Best movie ever made. Beats Vertigo, beats Citizen Kane, even beats The Godfather.
Oh, Godfather, Schmodfather.
That's why we didn't even bring it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, no, this is very exciting because the last couple times that listeners would have tuned into the Terror Table, we've been doing a lot of like promotional episodes and stuff like, celebrating. I brought on the cast and crew of The Druid's Hand, my short film, and that was a lot of fun. And then last week we had Dylan Hershuk on to talk about Green Room and his upcoming film, Our Last Day as Kids. And I want people to know that we're not just a promotional podcast. We are
We also did the Dark Bridges, so that got.
Oh wow, yeah. So
Yeah.
we may have lost some people. At this
Lindsay's
point.
like, yeah, all that shit.
Yeah, no, but this is going to be a magnificent return to form.
This is classic.
For many reasons. We're talking about films from all different decades in the same genre, same subgenre. We're going to talk about movies that we've caught up with recently, things that we've seen, and things that we've enjoyed or not enjoyed. And then we're going to get into our triple feature conversation, which it's just going to be a whole bunch of horror. We have a balls out horror galore episode ready for y'all today. And on top of that, it's like plus 35 in Vancouver right now. It's like the hottest I've experienced since our heat wave when we were shooting The Druid's Hand. It is boiling. Like I'm telling you, I know I don't want to sound like that guy where it's like, oh, when you come to Vancouver, you'll know what a real hot weather's like. But it's like, holy shit, it is super hot. I've been drinking White Claws all day. So,
okay, well, I think that's on you. Like, if someone told you that that's how you rehydrate, they lied to you.
But baby, that's how this episode's gonna roll. And I think that's why people like tuning into the show is it's gonna be chaos today, especially because I'm so excited to talk. I've watched a lot.
Lindsay is such a loose cannon.
Yeah, Lindsay. Yeah, you never know.
I am the definition of a loose cannon. That is me. No, well, it's freezing here. Like we've had like one of the coldest starts to winter in Melbourne for a while. So it got down to 4 degrees last night. I think we're sitting at a comfortable 10 or 9. But no, I know.
Question? Sorry, is this a dumb question? Do you guys get snow?
No.
Not in Melbourne, but we do actually around the ranges, I guess, around Victoria.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've never like heard of Australia having snow, so that's kind of cool.
Well, Australia to us is Wolf Creek. It's nonstop Wolf Creek. That's what Australia.
To be fair, a large portion of Australia is Wolf Creek. I can't deny this.
Wolf Creek, Hounds of Love, all those feel-good films.
Yeah, when you're watching Wolf Creek, you're like, hey, I've been there. I've been there too.
Yeah, I've been there. I know that. You can say
I know that guy.
Yeah. One half is Lake Mungo and the other half is Wolf Creek. So there you go.
You guys live in a horror movie.
We do. We really
that's why
do.
they make. Yeah, and I've said it a million times, but Australia makes some of the best horror movies. So
yes.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting.
We understand that the landscape is just there to kill you. Nothing else. You can't do anything with it. It will just kill you.
What's funny about that conversation though is that that is something that people always come back to is like, why would I want to go to Australia? Everything can kill you there. There's snakes in toilets, blah blah blah. But if you see all like the Australian horror movies that I love, it's the humans that are the worst. Like it's like Snowtown Murders, Killing Grounds, and Wolf Creek, and like there's all these like incredible horror stories. And I feel like that just has to be a result of, especially living in Vancouver now, I know a lot of Australian people because a lot of Australian people come to Vancouver, vice versa. And they're the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. And that would make sense why they make the most grotesque horror movies.
Yes. And also you've got to remember, like Canada, which is a very spread out country with a lot of wilderness and a lot of inhabitable igloos and a lot of inhabitable areas, the people who live in those areas are fucking weirdos. So
exactly.
those are people exactly, and Bret Hart. So you just, that's the thing you got to be a bit wary of, is that if you're going to a place like Cooper Pedy where everyone lives underground, they're gonna be a special kind of person to actually want to do that. Are you
saying you have mole people in Australia too?
We do.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy. We have mole people.
There's a screenplay you and I can write, Buzi.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
I think actually it would be a great rusical.
Yes.
Yes. You got to make sure you get tucked in waxed for that. So
yes.
As if there's any other way to go into it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, how do you guys feel about talking? Let's catch up on some horror movies. I know we've all seen a lot. Like this is a time, Buzi. Like let's catch up.
I have so much.
I have a lot too, and I'm really excited to talk about some of the films I've seen this week. But Lindsey,
I'm trying to remember some of this. Lindsey, I also have one more question. I keep interrupting.
Yes.
I can't remember if I mentioned this last time you were on the podcast. I was on for that episode, I believe. I feel like
like Mungo.
Yeah. I know we do so many episodes. I was gonna say,
and we smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah, there's 2 Schlock and Awe podcasts. Have you ever talked to the other one?
No, because when I started mine, I had a very quick Google of Schlock and Awe to see if it was actually, couldn't find anything. And then I did know that there was another one there, but I never talked to them. So if they want to say hi, say hi.
Yeah, no,
but sorry.
I accidentally DM'd them, and then I was like, wait, that's not you.
If you want to get rid of them, I know a guy.
Yeah. You know a guy, excellent, good to know. But no, I did a very quick cursory Google search, which doesn't always bring up everything, but that's due diligence, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying. I just mean like, have you guys ever connected? Because like,
no, we haven't. Yeah,
I have people I share Instagram names with who's like messaged me to be like, "Hey, Instagram name, buddy." So it's like, hey,
have you ever had that thing?
Have
you ever had that thing like where I got a message from like I was put in a group chat with like, this was like a meme thing that was going around for a long time a couple of years ago, but it was like, I received a message from a Mitch Oliver, and when I went to the group, it was like 70 Mitch Olivers, and it was evening, fellas. And I was like,
is there that many Mitch Olivers out there?
Man, I did not. If you ever needed to know how I could be even less original as just like a white guy who looks like this with 2 first names, there are hundreds of us out there.
So if you did like a convention and then did like a murder mystery, it would be unsolvable.
Either way, very happy to be talking about some horror movies today. Do you guys want to get rolling on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lindsey, can you lead us off? And like it's been a while since you've been on. I know you did an episode on a film that I know Buzi wants to talk about today. So we could do new releases, and you could fill us in on fill the tea bags in on Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh God.
We could start her off hot.
Well, we have already talked about classic movies like Morbius and oh my God, Dominion's insane. I don't know, that is I have no words for Dominion. I actually kind of enjoyed watching it. It was as soon as this locust showed up, I was just giggling just constantly throughout the movie. There are so many, there's dinosaurs and dinosaurs attack, and those are the cool moments. And then you have Sam Neill looking so goddamn confused about why he is there. A little like Jeff Goldblum, actually. Both of them are just looking around going.
Jeff Goldblum knows he's there for the paycheck, though. Like, I feel like he's winking at the screen every other time. He's like, I know.
Yeah.
I'm back.
You want to see the bloom. I know why you are. But literally, Sam Neill generally does not know why he is there. And it's often Laura Dern trying to explain to him why he's there. And he's just like looking at it going, but why? Why do I have to do this again?
Yeah, because like in 3, he vehemently does not want to go back to this island, and then this one, he's just like willing to go on an adventure just at the fucking drop of a hat.
Okay, so I haven't seen it yet, but I know Goldblum's not in Jurassic Park 3, but he was in
2,
Fallen Kingdom,
and Fallen Kingdom.
But Fallen Kingdom like hyped him up super hard. Like in the trailers, it was all like Goldblum's back, baby. And then when you go and see it, it's like, he's in the intro and the outro of the movie. That's it. So is Goldblum?
No, he's in this fucker. He's in
fucking,
this one? He's doing. So
they brought the A-team back for this one. Hey, so
yeah.
This is the first. I cannot believe I haven't seen it yet, but that should show you how much I didn't go falling off the Jurassic Park train, because like they lost me with Fallen Kingdom, and I've just heard nothing but bad things. I've heard nothing but bad things about this one. So I want you guys to elaborate on that.
Okay, well, Fallen Kingdom, as everyone who's seen it knows, spoilers, dinosaurs are now out just roaming the world. And so in the third one, they decide no, we're not going to do really what it's like to live with dinosaurs. We're going to put them in a sanctuary and literally go back to the park. So it's bringing the old crew and the new crew together, kind of at this kind of, I guess, dinosaur sanctuary where they're all kind of just hanging out.
In like Yellowstone National Park. So they destroyed a whole fucking island to just go to Yellowstone.
This just reminds me of like, okay, so like this era that we're living in is both a super exciting time to be a horror fan and also the worst, because everything, and I'm going to talk about one of these movies. I'm actually going to talk about 2 multiverse movies today. But I have a theory that the reason why we're getting so many multiverse movies is because people have been so fucking bored and so like upset with the state of the world that they're doing everything they can to get out of their own heads and into the most outlandish situations that they can. But it's Jurassic Park. It's like, how are they sorry, I'm already fired up about this. You guys keep going.
No, you haven't even fucking seen it and you're fired up.
No, it's easy to get fired up because at one hand, I've seen your
memes.
Yeah, at one hand you will have Chris Pratt constantly putting his hands up like he does, like to stop them, like he does Blue.
I hated that so much.
Stop it, dinosaur, stop it.
And now he does it to every single dinosaur he meets, whether they have been trained by him for years, which is what the first movie established, which is why he does the hand thing with the raptors. Now he just does it to any dinosaur walking down the street. It just suddenly hands up.
That's what happens when you get hot, though.
He basically
when you get hot,
into like,
you can control dinosaurs.
He turned into a crossing guard for dinosaurs. Basically, he's like, stop. Okay, you guys go across there. That's all it is.
He does it so much. It literally turns into a running joke of just him just putting his hands up, and the dinosaurs are just looking at him. I'm like, they're gonna bite your arm off sooner or later because you're just standing there like, hey, eat me.
That'd be awesome if they bit his arm off. Like, imagine how much that would be, so like subverting expectations of being like, okay, now Chris Pratt has one arm.
Yes.
I would love that.
If he finished the series with just one arm, that would be commendable.
Or that could open up that could open up a fourth one, because they could be like, you know what, maybe we can't live in harmony with these beasts.
Yes, we have to go and kill them all. Yeah, it's because I have a special place for Fallen Kingdom because it is so dumb, and plus it is literally dinosaurs in a haunted house, and I'm like, this I like, but the whole thing is dumb, and they kept going with the dumb aspect of it. I don't know. It's got some really great actors. I'm gonna go see a movie that has Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum playing the original J Park characters, because it's the original Jurassic Park crew, but. Some of the story, I mean, the bad guy, I was so confused by him.
There's the dinosaur was not the bad guy.
No, there's 2 different movies in here. It switches.
There is,
yes, halfway through all your villains change, and it makes no sense.
The biotech guy, the one who actually owns because there's always evil corporations.
It's Dodson.
His reactions to certain things, I swear, are just the weirdest things ever. Like, he's sort of talking about this, his protege, like, oh, he's exactly like me, turns to him, and it's like the first time he realizes that man is a man of color, and he's like, oh shit. And he just looks him up and down, and he like, choices have been made. Yeah, you kept this in the movie.
Oh boy. Buzi, like you were really fired up, and like everyone knows,
it's upsetting.
Also, shout out, Buzi was on a recent episode of Let's Talk About Stuff, where I didn't even know you were going on that, and that was when I got giddy in the morning when I like opened up my phone. I was like, new episode from Let's Talk About Stuff featuring Buzi, and it's like, but you're that guy that's like, anytime someone will invite you on the show, so like. I actually, Lindsay, I have no idea if Schlock has done all the Jurassic Park movies or anything like that, but
no,
Buzi,
not yet.
That's always like your first thing to go to. Like, you're a certified Jurassic Park stan. If you don't 100%. Love this movie, who the fuck is this for?
Yeah.
I feel like like from the start, like as soon as I finished watching it, I was angry and just had to be like a dick about it. But it does feel like they took, I kind of,
you were a dick about it, and I like it though. It was pretty funny. It was like, funny watching all your memes.
This was my like Last Jedi. I feel like all that Star Wars nerd rage, I get it now, because it just transplanted to Jurassic Park. But yeah, it's just it completely became and I want to say that unfortunately this is part of that like superhero syndrome, is to keep up with all those kind of movies and have those fantastical things. They had to do all this shit in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, and it sucked. It was just like the whole point of like those movies, even look at like Lost World especially, is this idea of like there's no way you can survive out here. You know, like these dinosaurs are a constant threat to you. And to just have it like they felt like such an afterthought, and they were an afterthought, because the first 45 minutes maybe has one or two dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And like, is your favorite part of a dinosaur movie locusts? They're also not from
it's Chris Pratt.
But they're not if you want genetically modified locusts, they're also not from like a prehistoric era. They're just locusts. They're just like, that's it. And then they go to, was it like Abu Dhabi or something? Where the fuck do they go?
I don't know. It was.
I hope you got that wrong, because that would sound horrible.
No, dude, it was like the most like generic, like any movie you've ever seen where they go to like a distant land and there's like a supermarket. This is all of that combined. And
yes.
And then there's like, they're driving around and there's like I don't know. I hated it. There's so many different interchangeable bad guys that they set up to be like, oh, and then you're like, who the fuck is this person? There's one bad guy who has a dinosaur tattoo on his face.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's pretty 2022 of him.
Yeah, I think just the thing I'm most frustrated about is there's zero stakes to it. You feel like your characters are in a dream. Like they survive like things that like no one ever should. Like they get out of plane crashes and they're totally fine, and then they run through a jungle, and it's stuff like that where it's really hard to watch it. And like my girlfriend kept telling me to like sit down, because I was literally like squirming in my seat. I was like, oh, this sucks.
I've been there with Buzi, where I've seen him like kind of stand up during a theater. Like, in
a
theater.
I wanted to leave, honestly. And it's just like, and
cinema, baby. When it can
like
get,
Lindsey
when
had mentioned the hand thing, like I shouldn't care that he puts his hand out in front of him, but it's so fucking annoying because it doesn't make sense.
It should also be said that you love Jurassic World, like the first one, and the first one. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But
it's kind of weird, because Domain has actually these little moments that I generally do love. Because speaking at the beginning, when you see a few dinosaurs, there's a boat that gets attacked, a fishing boat that gets attacked by one of those big fish ones, and that's incredible. Or when at a logging company, there's this I still call them brontosaurus,
the brachiosaur or whatever.
The brachiosaurus, yeah.
Yes,
he's just wandering through that.
Yeah,
I mean, there was stuff like that. I'm like, okay, can we do more of this? Actually, what it's like to, okay, so now we've got dinosaurs just living in the world. They're not kind of separated. They're part of now the ecosystem. How does that readjust? And they just went, oh no, a scientist decided to make a blended locust, and so they would eat, so that he could sell more genetically
just a corporate greed thing, but not in a dinosaur way.
But not in a dinosaur way. And it's kind of just like, that was the movie you decided to go with, not like, oh, you could have a T-Rex wandering through New York. You could have had anything.
That's what
the whole
Buzi
point of the series that they were going for is like, oh God, they've been unleashed in the world. How will they affect the ecosystem? And they do show a little bit of like, oh, of course, they have to like eat other things. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're blending into crowds and stuff and doing all that. And then they don't care. They're just like, we rounded them all up. They're not on the planet. They're just in Yellowstone National Park. Don't worry about it.
I feel like corporate greed has been like an ongoing theme throughout Jurassic Park for good reason, but it doesn't sound like they handled it.
It turned kind of like just the like the company just became greedy and they made a shitty movie with it.
Oh, that's not like them, isn't it? Isn't that Disney? Doesn't Disney own Jurassic Park?
No, it's Universal.
Disney owns everything.
Yeah, Disney owns everything except for Jurassic Park, apparently. No, it's but corporate greed has always been entwined in the movies, because it's always been this thing about how they think you can control nature, and nature's always going to come back and bite you in the ass or just eat you, is the case with Jurassic Park. But they don't really do. It's just this boring corporate greed. And even though they set up these massive Buzi's right, there's no stakes, but they keep setting up these stakes like, oh, the locusts are going to destroy all the food population because they're stronger than we think they are, and then so half the world's going to starve to death.
Yeah.
But no one's really that concerned about it. Absolutely at all. So what's the point in getting invested in that kind of food source kind of plot of how, and it's not, again, it should be about how dinosaurs are affecting the ecosystem, not how some weird stuttering lunatic who doesn't actually know anything is creating locusts, and there's a sad BD Wong now just hugging a briefcase going, I'm sad. I'm like, they
tried to make him a likable character, and it's like, no, you've already turned him heel. Like, you can't.
Who is it? Which character is this? Do I know him?
Yes, BD Wong is the Asian doctor, or the Asian scientist from, like,
he's the one one, and so he comes back into the world, and is
does Sam Neill have to do in this movie is what I want to know.
Okay, so he's really annoyed that he doesn't get laid. And he basically just went back to being the same character he was from Jurassic Park, like the first one, before they even dealt with the dinosaurs. So he just, like, you know, he rearranged himself as a character to just be that guy. He's just old and crotchety now.
He's Beavis.
And
he was old and crotchety in the first one, to be fair. I mean,
he just begrudgingly goes through with, like, the only difference in this one is he puts up less of a fight to go anywhere. He literally is just like, well, I guess we have to go over here.
Well, I guess if Laura Dern does come into your tent, you're going to go, yes. But I do love the whole thing that I do love the fact that he is still like, I'm going to dig dinosaur bones. There's fucking dinosaurs wandering around literally while you're digging.
Just kill one and take its bones if you fucking want it that bad.
I just want to see Sam Neill muscle up some kids like he does in the first one, because that's like my favorite Sam Neill moment, where he's like,
so annoying that they couldn't get the kids back. I wanted to see the kids make a comeback, unless they're like Anakin Skywalker and are just like drug fucking.
Hey, Anakin's doing great. You're the one who loves Obi-Wan.
No, not Hayden.
You're talking about the one from Jingle All the Way.
Yeah,
the one who got bullied out of the franchise.
Also,
that never happens in Star Wars.
No, everyone's
Instagram.
Everyone's super stable-minded.
I know they keep sort of saying, every time I go, oh no, Star Wars fans are the best. They love the thing. I'm like, they're not bullies, they're not racist. I'm like, can you want to go back to the 70s? Because I'm pretty sure Billy D. Williams has some things to say.
I didn't think everyone was that racist until Second Sister started existing from the Obi-Wan thing, and people got real mad about that.
And people have gone, it's pathetic. Like, we're not even going to go down that road because we're having fun here.
Can I just say one last thing about Dominion? They spent so much time with the Giganotosaurus being like, this is the biggest fucking thing that's ever walked to this planet. And let me tell you, if it's the biggest thing, but it is the least coordinated and useful creature I've ever seen on this planet. It does nothing. Imagine the Jurassic Park, like the first scene of the T-Rex attacking from the original Jurassic Park. Now imagine that they easily defeat it and it goes away.
Pretty much. Every single time they try to introduce a bigger dinosaur, it sucks. And then they bring back the T-Rex, which, by the way, they've kind of followed the idea that T-Rexes within a lot of paleontology, that it was more of a scavenger, it wasn't a predator, it wasn't the kind of the king of the dinosaurs. But every single time they have to bring in T-Rex, and she's usually as awesome as she was in the first one, and then she's the one that kicks ass. So it's kind of like, just keep using the T-Rex. She looks awesome.
If
Stop
it ain't broke, don't
fix it. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Dominion is not a hit.
It's a dud for me.
It's a dud.
I actually still think it's worth watching, because you're just watching it going, choices.
Yeah, okay. I've seen Halloween
Kills. It does not need to be 2
this.
hours and 48 minutes long either.
Sounds like the Halloween Kills of Jurassic Park movies. So
hey, I like
Okay, well, I'll shift this a little bit, because this is going to be the only non-horror film that I talk about today, and I know that I'm the one who specifically put in that rule that we cannot. No, we've already talked about Morbius. We did that last week, and Morbius is more of a horror movie than this. I'm just here to say, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe is one of the best things I have seen in a very fucking long time.
There's a new Beavis and Butthead?
There is a new Beavis and Butthead.
Oh my God.
Movie.
I didn't know this.
It is so good. It is so funny. I legitimately fell out of my bed laughing.
Okay, I gotta watch this.
Beavis and Butthead is one of those things that I grew up just adoring. Like, I loved Beavis and Butthead. I had the Super Nintendo game. I had Beavis and Butthead comics. Like I was obsessed with
They
those
were
two
also
idiots.
cool because they like metal and shit.
Exactly.
They were.
But I'm telling you, I have not watched anything Beavis and Butthead related since I was maybe 10 years old.
Right.
And going back to this now, I realize how much smarter it has been the entire time, and how you need, like, it gets better with age because you start understanding what the whole show is just basically them trying to score.
Yeah.
It's just them being dumbasses trying to get laid but never leaving their houses.
Score.
Yeah, we're gonna score. It is Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Honestly, is up there with Everything Everywhere All at Once for me this year as a movie that I just
Holy
fucking
shit.
loved. Like I loved it that much. I've watched it twice now. I watched it again this morning to make sure it wasn't just the mushrooms that I was
Right.
on. But I am here to say, if you have access to mushrooms, there is no movie better than Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. It is comedic social commentary gold. It is so funny. Beavis has a relationship.
Social commentary, huh?
Beavis is dating Siri.
Oh my god! I have to say that Mike Judge who did the original, or was it?
And he did this new one too, and he's done King of the Hill and Idiocracy
and The Office. Office Space. Yeah, he's got the crew back together because this cast is insane. I mean, yeah, Stephen Root and Gary Cole are there. Tig Notaro, Martin Starr. I mean, I am so gonna have to watch this.
I love Martin Starr.
Because I love Beavis and Butthead Do America.
And okay, Lindsay, that's what happened is I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen Do America since I was 10 years old. So and I loved it as a kid, but right after I finished Do the Universe, I put on Do America and I was like, oh my God, I did not, like, there's no way I picked up on any of this when I was a kid. I just liked it because it was animation and they were kind of goofy idiots. But holy fuck, it is one of the funniest things and one of the most enjoyable things I've seen all year. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe it's amazing. It was such a welcome return to my life where I'm now like I want to go through and watch all of King of the Hill again. Like it's that good.
King of the Hill is one of those shows that as older you get, the funnier it is.
That's exactly this
getting more of the jokes.
That is mostly because Do America was the first movie I'd watched under well on weed. And it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And you go back, but no, I think that's my judge. The older you get, the funnier he gets because you realize how freaking intelligent he is. The first time I saw Idiocracy, I was so annoyed by it. It's like no one is this stupid. You watch it again and you're like, oh, this is fucking gold because this is the world.
Like I had no idea that Beavis and Butthead is essentially just all about white privilege. Like that's what like do the universe. It's just like it's all like look at these stupid fucking white guys who think that they can do anything and like how small their brains are and how much of the population is just like this. Like it's that is so funny.
That is Office Space. It's about this one guy
who decides comedy.
I don't want to work anymore. And he gets away with it because everyone thinks he's a genius. And you have everyone else, the poor guy called Michael Bolton. You have the South Asian guy, and they are just looking at him and going, how the hell do you get away with this? And he's just like, it's that.
straight up, like not even, I know I have a tendency to be hyperbolic, but I have said it, like Office Space is my favorite comedy of all time. I think it's like, it's one of those movies that anyone who has worked a job that they hate can fully relate to this movie. I think
that's what makes it like it's the relatability that makes it better.
Yeah, it gets better and better with time. Like I've had, oh man, like Office Space that's like top of the list in my comfort foods. Like if I'm having like a really, really bad day or I'm going through something shitty, like I have underestimated Beavis and Butthead. It is so good. So I needed to mention that on the show. Much like we've mentioned Chip and Dale recently, and other
good movie. Surprisingly, that movie has good. Yeah, this Roger Rabbit ripoff has no right to be as good as it was. I mean, the whole whale rap. I mean,
oh, it is so good. It is so good. But yeah, I needed to mention it. Absolutely loved it. It does everything to assure you that your brain is not going to be interrupted with ADD. Like that's what Beavis and Butthead is to me. It's just like the ADD brain times 100. And put on screen with the dumbest characters. Oh my god, it's so good.
I am so watching this. I am excited.
Please let me know what you think.
Movie.
You didn't know this came out?
No,
I didn't
I was.
know.
Okay, so how this happened was it was the day that we were premiering The Druid's Hand at the theater, and Scott Hamilton, our composer and like the film projectionist, the film programmer at the Broadway theater where we screened it, he came up to me, he's like, quick, you, because he could tell I was super stressed out, like, because I was so nervous about like my first screening. It was sold out. I was just like, I was a mess. He's like, quick, you need to take a quick break, give yourself a breather, watch this. And he pressed play on, he's like, there's a new Beavis and Butthead movie coming out. And it was the trailer. And we both sat there just laughing our asses off. And the movie surpasses the trailer. It is so good. Between that and us getting Jackass Forever and Jackass Forever actually being awesome, man, what a great time to be a part of bro culture.
This is the good bro. This is the bro culture I want. This is
because it's making fun of bro culture. Like, and Jackass is doing the same thing. Like, it as much as some people might disagree, it is. They're making fun of the idiots.
Oh, it absolutely is. I used to hate Jackass because I think I watched the vomit and just went, no, this is not a thing. And then I went, and I even enjoyed Jackass 4.5.
Oh, it's so good.
So good. I actually forgot how much penis is in Jackass. Like, I'm watching it going, I forgot how much penis is in the
they just hang on.
Yeah,
and they are just all free, all kind of thing. But yeah, no, they make fun of themselves and they do it to themselves. It's not like, it's kind of like Beavis and Butthead. It's not, it's bro culture. Yeah. But they just, everything's on themselves. They don't do it, they don't inflict it on people who do not want to be there. Like,
that's the problem though, is I think that both of these things, they attract the wrong crowd. It's kind of like Pain, like I notoriously talk about Pain and Gain, Michael Bay's Pain and Gain, where I remember when that trailer came out, I was like, talk about a movie that I never ever want to see, and I thought it looked so bad. I went to it, I'm like, oh my god, this is actually genius, and like that movie is fucking hilarious. And it's that they're making fun of those people, and like it's making fun of like the mindsets and the culture around toxic bros. And that's exactly what these movies do. And it's so funny. It's so like Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe is so intelligent. Like it is so well thought out. There's comments on cancel culture that I love so much. Like I'm just going to spoil it for a second. There's a moment where, because notoriously back in the day, Beavis and Butthead would use the word that is now obviously for good reason become a very problematic word, slut. And they say, like, Butthead says in one part, he's trying to pick up a girl and he goes, there's some sluts back at our place. Do you want to join us? And a girl comes into the frame and goes, okay, everyone stop. This is teachable. Like, we can fix this. And I was like, oh my God, this is so genius. It's just commenting.
There's a lesson to be learned here.
Exactly. And man, it won over my whole heart. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it's one of my favorite movies of the year. Like, it is so good.
No, Mike Judge is one of the smartest comedians or comic creators working. Like, I dare anyone not to go and watch anything he does and just sit there and go, holy shit, I was stoned when I was watching this as a teenager. Now I'm watching it. I'm like, going,
Idiocracy.
He's absolutely saying something. Idiocracy is amazing. It took me 2 watches to finally kind of click to exactly what he was doing, because everyone just annoyed me. It's like, stop putting Gatorade on the plants. That should be easy. But no. No, I'm so excited. So I was looking up before saying, okay, what thing is this on? But I can watch it. Yeah, I can totally. I have Paramounts.
There you go.
So I am going to watch this and be very excited.
Enjoy. It is great.
I will.
All right. So I have a couple more things I want to talk about. Let's take it around the room. Buzi, do you want to lead off with one?
Yeah, I kind of want to mention one because it's more of a celebration. So I watched, because everybody else was talking about it, I checked out Jaws 2. I can't remember how many years it's been since it was released, but everyone was making a big deal out of that.
Who was making a big deal out of Jaws? Jaws 2 is great, but who was making
Jaws
a big
2
deal?
is great. No, because it was I don't care. It was a celebration of Jaws 2. All these people were talking about it. So I was like, hey, I also like Jaws 2. I'm gonna watch this. Such a good movie. I love how vengeful it is. It's like a mean fucking movie. You have like for anyone who's seen it, obviously it has like a big ass great white shark that halfway through gets like maimed with like fire. So it's like it basically
Michael Myers.
It's Michael Myers, yeah. And it's so cool to watch that. I think those are are fantastic, especially the second one. It doesn't get nearly enough credit.
It does not get the credit that it deserves, because like that, of course, it's nowhere even close to the original, but it is such a fun, campy slasher movie.
On its
but with a
own, it
shark.
is a really good movie.
Yeah,
No,
it's fun.
No, it just had the unfortunate thing of being the Jaws sequel,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks for everyone involved, because it's like, well, there's Jaws, and Jaws 2 is still really fun. I mean, the whole thing with the kids on the boat, and then
Yes,
they're just picking them off one by one, I absolutely adore. It is so, you're right, it is such a mean, this shark is out for revenge, and he does not care
Yeah.
what is happening. He's going to get those kids.
It's kind of like, you know, you can't go from Morbius to Morbius 2. Like, it's just going to be nothing but downhill from there.
It really is, yeah.
But yeah, no, Jaws 2 is so good.
I will generally watch all the Jaws movies, even 4. I still have fun with. But no, Jaws 2 is actually really solid. It's just a really solid movie.
If it was
and
called
I think,
anything else, it would be like another one of the big shark movies. Legit. If
it
was
would
called
be
something else.
Cool. All right.
I also I have to say, I've been scrounging through Tubi, and I just have to, because this is speaking of Jaws, I found something incredible.
Blades.
1989's Blades.
I still have to see this. I know, I know of it.
It's a
the golf course,
classic. Yes. So it's about a vengeful lawnmower that haunts a golf course. And it's basically Jaws. They just replaced shark with lawnmower, and they added some characters and changed some to be just one character instead of 3. And holy shit, it is incredible. The violence is it never doesn't take itself seriously, and I think that's the best part. It constantly winks about it, but it's like, yeah, we know we're making Jaws here, but with the lawnmower. But it is so fun. I definitely recommend that everyone check this out if you're in for a good time 80s horror movie.
And to be clear, there's not 2 Wesley Snipes in this movie?
0. No, they didn't clone Wesley Snipes to make him even more in debt, but
all right, Blades. So the vengeful lawnmower film. Yeah, no, that is now on my list since I saw you posted on your Instagram.
Yeah. I tried watching a film called, oh no, that one wasn't on there. There was one other one I tried watching on Tubi, and I legit had to turn it off because it was so bad. Which
that's saying a lot.
Happens.
That's saying a lot. Buzi doesn't turn Tubi movies off. Which movie was this? Let's hear this.
I want to say
Citizen Kane.
I want to say it was
Casablanca?
Night Killer from 1990.
Oh man, what? I've heard that movie's great.
No, that movie is insane. I mean, it's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible movie, but it's kind of on the terrible level where you're just watching it with your mouth on the floor going, oh my God, someone filmed this.
Yeah.
I've heard this movie's great. I was actually going to watch it.
Maybe it was that one, because it's not Bloody Rage. And I know I talked about how awesome Blood Rage is.
Blood Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love Blood Rage.
That's about it though.
That's it for you?
Yeah, I also just want to say that Kenobi is fucking incredible. Well, because I watched this other movie. I watched this movie called My Son, and I also I didn't want to talk about it too much, but it's not good. And it's got what's his name from oh god,
James McAvoy.
Yeah, it's got James McAvoy. That's the only reason I watched it, and it sounded really cool because it was
not good.
Where's my son? But it's just so boring.
Okay. I had never heard of this film, but looking at it, I'm like, oh, this looks right up my alley.
Yeah, I thought it would be great, but nope.
All right, so it's no Blades. That's what Buzi's
no Blades.
All right, Lindsay, do you want to talk about another horror flick that you've seen recently?
Yeah, I finally got around. No, I'm going to do this one. I finally got around to watching. Speaking of Spielberg, Duel for the first time.
Nice.
It's Spielberg, good director. That
Who?
is
Who?
He's an up and comer. I think he's got a he's got a bit of a future.
He's the next M. Night Shyamalan, is what people
are
saying.
He is pretty much. Yeah, he's going to be the next M. Night Shyamalan. No, this is a TV. This was released internationally, but American TV movie. And there is so much craft in this thing. And you're just sort of watching this truck going, that truck is going to kill him. This is not a truck that is fucking around. And all because he overtook him. Like, it was such the pettiest thing. But what I love about it, because it is about a male being demasculated, that very 70s notion of not being a proper man. And when he's actually overtaking the truck, he's listening to like a talkback radio thing on Weak Men. It is the funniest thing ever, because and then he has to go, and the only thing he can do is outrun the truck. That's the only thing he can do. He can't fight the truck. He can't. I don't know. It's when you have Richard Matheson writing a movie, it's going to be very intelligent as well as freaking cool with the massive truck. But no, I watched Duel. It was awesome.
I still haven't seen that. What year is that from? Oh,
72.
shit.
Yeah.
Lindsay, do you have a couple more? Because I have a couple more. I could knock off. I'll knock off 2.
Yeah, you knock off 2, and then I can knock off 2.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to start off with one that I'm not going to talk too much about because there isn't a whole lot to talk about. But I finally caught up with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So this is
second. Is that Doctor Strange 2?
Yes, this is the one that was directed by Sam Raimi. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Why did it take you so long to watch this?
It's not as easy
Explain
to
yourself.
see. It's no, because that's actually a good question, because normally this is one of the first like Marvel movies that I hadn't seen in the theater as well, and like so I watched it when it hit Disney Plus. I had heard so many bad things about it, and like that doesn't normally deter me from something that I'm actually just already interested in seeing. Like keep in mind, I'm the guy who saw The Devil Inside in the theater, so like I see bad movies. It's so difficult to get out to the theater from where I'm living for the amount of money that it costs to do it. So I just don't see as much stuff anymore. But I've recently started just walking and taking like a very, very long walk to the theater. And it's been kind of nice. Like I'm going to talk about 2 other movies that I saw in the theater recently. So I've been seeing movies more frequently than normal recently. But yeah, no, I caught up with Doctor Strange. I loved it. I went in with my arms firmly crossed because I had heard all of the criticism, and I think I might just not be taking the Marvel Cinematic Universe as seriously as everyone else is these days. And that's not any slight on anyone who does, because, you know, there's been recent Marvel movies that I've really liked, like Shang-Chi was awesome. I love that. But the like Black Widow didn't do much for me. Eternals, I didn't make it through. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, this is a movie that is like, I can both understand all of the criticisms that are thrown its way, because this movie is a fucking mess, but it's so entertaining when you are a Sam Raimi stan. And I'm totally one of those people that I went into, like, I got caught up in all the Sam Raimi camera techniques and like the Evil Dead throwbacks. It just won me over with all of that. Like there were so many problems with the movie that I actually just stopped caring, because I was having so much fun watching him turn Doctor Strange into an Evil Dead movie. And I'm also one of those people who have always said, like, you guys shut up, it's not going to be a horror movie. Like everyone is like, oh, they're making a Marvel horror movie. I'm like, shut up, it's going to be like darker. It's not a horror movie. This movie has some real actual horror movie scenes, and I loved that about it. Like specifically, there's like a scene where Scarlet Witch is like coming through reflections in a room and like in puddles and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, he's just remaking Evil Dead 2 but with Doctor Strange. And like I could see that being a problem too. Is like, did we need to see him remake Evil Dead 2 with Doctor Strange? My answer, yes, because this formula has become really fucking boring, and there hasn't been a lot of stuff that's been separating it from, like, the movies have started to blend together again, and this one stands really firmly on its own. But for all of the bad reasons, I understand why people like wouldn't like it as much. It definitely feels like an in-between movie. It feels like the plot doesn't really go anywhere, because the whole movie is based around a plot that has already been solved in WandaVision. And it's like, but we're going to do WandaVision again, and it's going to be darker, and it's a horror movie this time. So like, I'm fully aware that I sound like a hypocrite here, but I loved all the Sam Raimi isms, Pizza Poppy or whatever his name is. Loved him, loved all the monsters. I think that, you know, the main issue that I think someone could have with this movie is that the script is kind of like wonky and weird, and this was just a fun time, and I'm going to watch it again. I really liked it. I had a lot of fun with it, and especially the ending, because it's like it's the Evil Dead. It's Evil Dead.
Oh, I mean, there's a moment when a demon flies out of Stephen Strange's eyeball, which I was just like, Fuck yes, Raimi. No, I'm
Yes.
in the middle. I'm in the middle with this. When Raimi gets to go Raimi, and it's all through the movie. I don't think it's just the Evil Dead stuff. I think when Doctor Strange jumps off a building for the first time to go fight that first creature,
Feels like
it's
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man's New York, which I'm like, oh yes, okay, this is awesome. I think it is very wonky. I think there is a portion in the middle that I think is just fanfic Marvel the movie, which I got annoyed about.
The fanfare, oh my god, the fanfare is ridiculous. It's so incredibly over the top.
It's incredible. The fact that they go really violent with it, I kind of love. But the fact when they started popping up, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. It's What If.
They snap the neck of a very, very famous character that hasn't been in this MCU verse yet, and I was like, I think I love that. Because like there was a while there where I'm like, oh my god, they're just trying to fit everyone into this, aren't they? Like it's just it's fanfare the movie. But when they snapped that one character's neck, I was like, god damn, that was actually pretty fucking gnarly. And I wasn't that's where I was like, oh, maybe it is kind of a horror movie. Like there's some real horror sequences in this film.
There are absolutely, and I think it is absolute horror movie. They let Raimi be Raimi for absolutely a lot of it. I think this is a kind of also a movie that was kind of a victim of COVID, because it was meant to be the first big one out of the gate, even before WandaVision. And then COVID happened. So I know there was massive reshoots, which you can't sort of say the what if of what this movie could have been, but that finale, you can't take it away from anything. I mean, it has stuff in it that wasn't even an Evil Dead. It is Sam Raimi's got, okay, I have the money, I have the effects. What do I want to do? I want to make wings out of demons. Okay, done. And it is really, really cool. I think when I watch it again, I'm just going to enjoy the Raimi-ness of it, and just like you just kind of forget the other stuff. Because I haven't seen a Marvel movie, which I'll continue to go see them, but I haven't seen a Marvel movie since Endgame that's really kind of, oh, I like that. I really like that. They've all been kind of middling. And even when I saw Eternals, as soon as the people in the theater started turning on the movie, I started enjoying it more, because I thought it was so hilarious that how quickly everyone turned against it.
Yeah. Oh,
Same thing happened with the Dead Don't Die with the Jarmusch movie. I was sitting in there and everyone's hating this movie, and I'm just like giggling my ass off.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's a wild little movie that
it is.
I'm not gonna say like, it was enjoyable for me. I'm just not taking it overly seriously, I think, and take that with a grain of salt with my review about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It's like, I don't know, I had fun with it, so I'm kind of okay with that. But Lindsay, what other stuff have you seen recently?
I saw the new Mickey Keating movie that's on Shudder at the moment, off season, with Jocelyn Donahue. And I think my favorite genre of movie is Jocelyn Donahue dicking around somewhere, which is off season. She's basically having to go back to this island her mother grew up on and is buried there, which you find out may have been a ploy to get her literally back to this island, which they cut off at off season during winter. And it's a really kind of like an Italian horror movie of just Jocelyn wandering around, and crazier things keep happening. Like it's literally, you go to a place and then you can't get out of again, because things are coming for you. But no, I really enjoyed it. It's a really solid little horror movie.
And that just came out on Shudder?
Yeah, it just came out on
I was gonna
Shudder.
say I have Shudder and I didn't see that one yet. That sounds cool. So I'll have to check that out.
So like, I know the only thing I knew about was the new Jocelyn Donahue movie. I honestly didn't even know it was Mickey Keating. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking that one out.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah, I also saw Men by Alex Gardner, which
we
I'm
both
like,
did.
yes, I'm liking it more now that I think about it more, because I did have a conversation with someone and we kind of, even though I don't necessarily think it's a movie you have to talk about, it was nice to have that conversation, because I do think it is Alex Gardner going, wow, God really hates women. And we're like, yes, we already know. But
did they do the 2.5 Men theme at any point?
No, sadly, but I didn't stay for the end credits. So
that is a missed opportunity. There's your
it
credits.
Really is. But if you're going to have a movie with 1970s folk horror elements, I'm all in. So it looks beautiful. It's a beautifully made movie.
Yeah, no, I have 2 left to talk about, and that's one of them. And so yeah, I got out to see Men before it left theaters, And I was really, really excited about this one because I'm a huge fan of Alex Garland, you know, Ex Machina and Annihilation, and even like his writing, like he wrote the book for The Beach. And I'm a big fan of his. And I had heard that this is his most pretentious movie. And that would be why I would like it, is what my friends had told me. And so I went to it and I'm like, all right, touche. Like I did, like I'm a guy who I love Mother. And that's why I think my stance on it is I need to see it again. I don't think that one time around. I've seen 2 movies recently where I've said that. And the thing is, Crimes of the Future, I don't really have any interest in seeing again.
Yeah.
Men, I do want to see again, but I did feel like I missed something, or something didn't click with me the way that I wish it would have. Because I'm definitely like, I wanted to go in and love that movie, and I kind of left lukewarm. I think it has like some incredible stuff at the end. Like there's some insane imagery that you just will not see anywhere else this year. It's the kind of imagery I was expecting from Crimes of the Future, but I got it from Men instead. And so like people who are looking for that really outlandish, wild stuff, you're going to find that in Men. But there was just, I'm a guy who like, I love allegory in films, and I love like I'm a Darren Aronofsky guy, so like I love the smell of my own farts. Like it's just I'm a guy who likes those kinds of pretentious ass movies, but I just couldn't. If I never see an apple in a film again, it'll be too soon. And there's a lot of that in this.
I do love how they just make the apple so goddamn obvious. It's not even like
not even trying to hide it. Yeah,
it's not even trying to hide it. It's like, there's the apple, there it is. And you've Rory Kilman, who I actually really loved in this movie. I mean, it's kind of like the 1970s BBC sketch show that poor Jessie Buckley is stuck in. But it is I'm just like, I was just like, oh, okay, at least you're not hiding, at least you're not trying to do this big metaphor, or just like this, I'm doing the apple. It's like, no, there's the apple, she ate it.
Yeah,
then things are going to go forward.
Exactly. And there's still a lot of wieners in this one, so it's kind of like Jackass, where there's a lot of wieners.
More than I was expecting. That was my first reaction when I left it. I'm like, men, more schlong than you'd think.
Yeah, exactly.
Men, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Which I should not have been surprised by with a movie called Men. But no, there's a lot of dick.
Yeah, a lot of it. But I certainly didn't hate it, but it is one that I'm actually like, I'm looking forward to rewatching like this year. Like I'm gonna watch it again, because I didn't hate it by any means. It's just something about it didn't fully click with me. I of course love the horror, like it goes extreme horror in the last couple minutes, and that was a lot of fun. And like you said, it's a very beautiful film. Like it looks really good. It's shot extremely well. I don't think that there's any way that Alex Garland would have made a movie as lazy as like I'm making it sound like it was, like by doing the whole Apple thing. Like I feel like there's a lot more to it that I just didn't pick up on as an audience member.
No, there is, because even when the ending happened, I was like, okay, if this is this one thing that's happened, fuck you, movie. And I think it's that, but I don't think it's that at the same time. I think there's a little bit more going on in it that I think it is ultimately dealing with, even if I'm sitting there going, yes, I already know God hates women. This is thank you, Alex, for letting me know. But it's really beautiful. I love the whole industrial Britain kind of left to nature kind of element to the movie as well. I love Jessie Buckley's performance. I love everything about it. And it's a movie I haven't actually stopped thinking about since. So I think, I'm going to watch it this year again as well, because there's more I want to pick up on.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, so that's Men. I have one last one I want to talk about. Do you have anything else you want to touch on, Lindsay?
No, I'm good. I
have a question for Lindsay really quick.
Yeah.
I saw recently you watched Nightmare Beach. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Yeah, Nightmare Beach rules.
Okay, good. So that's not a Goosebumps episode?
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
But it's a great 80s slasher.
Kind of like a Spring Break kind of thing, but with a guy with a motorcycle helmet, just like killing everyone. It's in really great ways, actually. It's a really great solid slasher. Yeah.
Okay.
John Saxon's in it. It's awesome.
John Saxon, America's
I think I talked about it a little while ago. It's on Tubi, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Nightmare Beach. Yeah, the last one I want to talk about is the brand new release film. So it's an adaptation of Joe Hill's short story, but it was written by C. Robert Cargill, who's an author, podcaster, and film critic. He also wrote the film Sinister and the original Doctor Strange. And the film was directed by Scott Derrickson. It is The Black Phone.
Oh, I'm seeing this in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Yeah, no, so I went and saw it the other night. Yeah, went and saw The Black Phone. So Scott Derrickson's the director who brought us films like the original so when I say the original, I actually don't know if there's an older version of Doctor Strange, but the first Benedict Cumberbatch one, he was supposed to do in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, that's Dr. Normal.
Okay. But he notoriously was he was the one who came up with the name in the Multiverse of Madness, but he left the project due to creative differences. And from podcasts I've listened to recently with him and Cargill, it sounds like he really didn't want to do that movie, and like this is more what he wants to do. This is the director who made The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Sinister. So Cargill and Derrickson both made Sinister a couple of years ago with Blumhouse, but yeah, this is the new one, The Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke. And yeah, I loved it. I thought this movie was super, super creepy, and just, it was a lot of fun for being a movie that's so fucking dark. It is very, very dark. It's about a child grabber. Like they call him the Grabber, and he's played by Ethan Hawke. And he's a child murderer, and it's insinuated that he's a pedophile, and he's a murderer, and he's doing horrendous things to these kids. And it's kind of like in the vein of something like Summer of '84, which is a movie that came out a couple of years ago that like if you're into the movies like that, this is going to blow your hair back, because this movie was
So is it more serious then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is it like kind of like Clovage Killer?
I would say like it's definitely, it's more paced for like in mainstream audiences than Clovage Killer, but it's Buzi.
The Blumhouse version of that.
I'll be very surprised if you don't dig this movie. Like I'll be very surprised.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it's really, really tense, really well acted for the most part. Specifically,
and Ethan Hawke is a good villain.
Oh man, and that Ethan Hawke is someone that you don't really ever see play a character like this.
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean.
If there's any criticism that I have towards the movie, it's that I wish I would have seen more interaction between him and the kids, but I can also understand why they wouldn't do that. And I think that their restraint from showing that is something that could potentially, like, there's two universes where I could see him interacting with kids more, and I'd be like, oh, that's too much, or like we don't need that. And they handled it pretty well. The main character, played by Mason Thames, who plays the lead, Finney, he was really good. He's just a young child actor. Child acting is something really tough to crack, and something it can go either way. Like it can be really horrible, it'll be really great. He was awesome. And the character who played his sister, Madeline McGraw, she plays the character Gwen. She was really, really fun and really good in the film. But yeah, the film, like, it explores themes of loss of innocence, the confusion that faith brings to like small town America, and hereditary illnesses, even though, for lack of a better word, illnesses. You'll know what I mean when you see it. But yeah, it's a movie that it kept my attention the whole time. I was really, really into it from start to finish, and I really, really dug it. Like I liked it more than Sinister. It's very similar to Sinister in a lot of ways, because they do the whole Super 8 camera footage and stuff like that spliced in. Yeah, and like I don't know, I really liked it. I thought it was really strong. It's one that I'm looking forward to seeing this one again too, because I feel like there's little things that I missed, but it's a little bit predictable, I will say that. Like, but I feel like there's no way they're gonna put you in a theater and show you the grotesque things that I think I would have wanted from this movie, understandably so. Like, this isn't the Clovage Killer or Snowtown Murders or something like that. It's a movie that you're gonna leave the theater and not feel overly drained, which is something that, like, I like to be drained. I like that, like, really horrendous, awful feel bad spirit movies. I'm into those. But as far as like a mainstream horror film goes, this one was pretty damn strong. And yeah, I definitely recommend it. I really dug The Black Phone.
Oh no, I am so looking forward to it because Sinister is one of the legit scared me. Like there's something about the Super 8 and creepy kids.
Yeah.
Like that scene you get, the lawnmower, that just, I was like, oh no, I can't. Ugh. And I adore Ethan Hawke. I have done since I was a teenager, and I'm blanking on the goddamn name. Winona Ryder, Lisa. Anyway, I've loved him since I was a teenager. I love how he never plays the role that you think should be playing at the time of his career.
Yes.
He's always doing something different, and now he just seems to be having fun. I mean, he's just superhero movies, but then did Moon Knight, and he was great as that kind of
he's that guy
leader.
He's so like he's a prestige actor who can also dip his toes into schlock and make it somehow classier. Like it's
he does.
I know I think it was Postmortem with Mick Garris, the podcast. They had Robert Cargill and Scott Derrickson on. I think they share a story about it where like Scott Derrickson sent Ethan Hawke the script for The Black Phone, and he was like, listen man, like I do not do villains, like notoriously, like it'll take a lot for me to get into that role, like so just I'm letting you know now that it's likely that I'm not going to be interested in this one, even though he does respect him. And he woke up to like Scott Derrickson woke up to a voicemail from him at like 6 a.m. or something like that, saying like, I'm gonna kill all those fucking kids. It was like, yes, I love that. And he really does bring it in this movie. Like
Ethan, you gotta quit calling me and saying that. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm not gonna say that this is some like game-changing movie or anything like that, but I just think as far as mainstream releases go and what Blumhouse has been putting out, it's been it's pretty solid. So yeah, I definitely really dug it. Recommend everyone go and check that one out. But yeah, so that's everything. I think we're all caught up. Do you guys want to get on to some monster movies?
Yeah, dude.
All right. Well, we'll be talking about 3 monster films back to back after this short break. We'll see you all on the other side. And welcome to our main feature presentation, where we are going to be dissecting 3 films from the monster subgenre. So we're doing a monster mash today, and today we're doing a proper monster mash because we have 3 different films that fit within the monster subgenre that are nothing alike in any single way.
And from 3 different decades.
Yes.
So I'm pretty proud of this triple that we got going on here, but we're going to start off with my pick. Which was a first-time watch for me, but we're going to talk about The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. The film was directed by Eugene Laurie and was written by, it's based off a story from Ray Bradbury. It's like a classic literary novel.
Yes.
Rest in peace to everyone who had anything to do with this film.
Yes.
Oh my God, Buzi, I love you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone involved is likely dead. But yeah, the film tells the story of a ferocious dinosaur awakened by an Arctic atomic test terrorizes the North Atlantic and ultimately New York City. So it's a tale as old as time. This is the story
it's
that
King
brought
Kong.
us. It's King Kong. It's Matthew Broderick's Godzilla.
Yeah,
it's everything.
I thought about that a lot the whole time. I was like, hey, Godzilla 98 took a lot of shit from this.
This is so Godzilla 98. And
so Godzilla. Yeah, I watching
maybe
it.
That's why
again.
I liked it so much.
Yeah.
Don't turn this podcast off. Don't turn this podcast off. We're just a little cheeky here. But we do like Godzilla 1998.
I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was a first time watch for me. I saw it because Lindsay, we asked you what kind of movies that you'd like to talk about, and you said like when it comes to horror, monsters are your bread and butter.
I love
let's
monsters.
talk about that a little bit. Like, where does that come from? Because obviously I know from listening to the Terror Table, Buzi and I are monster fiends. Like that's what this whole show's based around.
Yeah.
Monster, nature run amok. It's our shit.
Oh, it's the best shit. No, I think it was honestly Jim Henson. I think because I definitely grew up on the Muppets. I was such a Muppets kid. I was obsessed with the Muppets. So
let's hear a Muppet impression.
Oh my.
Jesus, Buzi.
Come on, everyone has like
Do you
I-
carry the hat? It's the Muppet Show!
It's a
Yay!
Boop-a-doop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's my Swedish chef.
Garbage.
there you go.
The garbage monster.
Yes.
Which one
So
was
yeah,
that?
I have no idea. They're flinging.
You just made it up.
Yeah. I love the fish guy.
Oh, animal.
Animal.
Wait, the fish.
Yeah.
Animal's the drummer. I'm
Animal's
talking
the
about
drummer.
the one who pops out of the garbage.
Oh, that's Oscar the Grouch. He's just
Yeah,
yeah.
Oscar-
Sesame
oh,
Street.
yeah.
Isn't that Sesame Street?
Same thing. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Tomato.
Shout out Jim Henson.
It's all
Tomato,
it's all Jim
tomato,
Henson.
Morbius, Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah. So it was Sesame Street. It was the Muppet Show. It was everything Jim Henson did. Labyrinth, Black Crystal, which scared the living snot out of me as a kid. I mean,
Me
those.
too.
Labyrinth was
those-
kind of creepy too.
Well,
Yeah,
because of his dick. Like when you
Yes.
see it now, like fucking Bowie's dick is everywhere in that movie. When's the
I
last time
mean-
you guys watched Labyrinth?
That's probably like
2 years
15.
ago, and I was always 2 years ago. Like I was watching it going, wow, there is a lot of Bowie dick. Then no wonder I love. No wonder I'm such a big Bowie fan today.
I bought it to try and impress a date. Like that was so it would have been like 2016. It was like she had said that her
Man,
favorite
that's when
movie
you
was
like put
Labyrinth.
in work, hey?
Well, it
Yeah.
was funny because I was shout out classic roommate or classic host of the podcast, Diego Juarez. Like we were living together at the time. He was living in my basement. He was the manager of HMB, which was like a record and Blu-ray store and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this girl's coming over and she says her favorite movie's Labyrinth. And I said that I already owned it. And I hadn't seen it since I was fucking 6. So I was like, can you bring it home? He brought it home and we watched it. And the whole time I was thinking, I was like, there is so much Bowie dick in this movie.
And that's
It's
gonna be the first thing you bring up with her.
Well, it's spoiler alert, nothing came out of that one. But yeah, sorry, I don't know how I cut you off talking about Labyrinth. Yeah, big
No,
penises, Labyrinth.
It is a lot of penises, and he is playing with those balls constantly. So it is like this massive sexual metaphor as it is.
Yeah.
And when you're like 7 years old watching it, it's like watching Dirty Dancing around the same time with Patrick Swayze. You're learning things.
Mhm.
I was learning.
Perfect with
learning-
John Travolta.
Exactly. I am learning I am a straight female because I am going toward Perfect watching Travolta doing the hip thing and just like going, they bounce.
Was that your sexual awakening? Because mine and Boozy's, I think it was Starship
Troopers.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. No, mine was definitely Labyrinth and
I love that without
Dirty
even-
Dancing.
Labyrinth? Labyrinth and Dirty
Yeah.
Dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my sexual awakening watching those two movies. And like, oh yeah, this is something I like.
They're horny movies.
They're very horny movies. And yeah, so I think just watching as I got older and then found the creature features, even though I would say, and when I was 25, I don't like horror, but I would go anything with a creature in it. I'm like, Jurassic Park I still say Jurassic Park's my favorite movie, the original.
Boom.
So-
There we go.
I'm right there beside you.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
two of you.
Yeah, you got two of us.
In my
so
top 10.
Yeah, as it should be. It's Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
No,
it's a classic film.
Yeah, anything with a freaking giant monster running around doing, or just any kind of monster.
Chris
actually,
Hurtado
I
said
love.
Spielberg's kind of mid though, so
He did.
He's still young.
Yes.
He's got to figure it out.
He's got
Chris
like a young.
Hurtado. Chris Hurtado is like I've said to him multiple times, Boozy, where I'm like, boy, I see you making the same mistakes Boozy and I made.
Mhm.
Let us stop you from this
No,
madness.
we need to stay out of his multiverse. He
Yeah.
needs to
Yes.
figure it out himself.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop interrupting you, Lindsay.
No,
Keep
sorry.
talking.
My favorite thing you've ever done on the internet is Photoshop Chris Hurtado lurking around in Titanic when Jack is drawing as like one of his French girls. I honestly fell over.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's just funniest thing. But yeah, no, monsters are great. That's all I have to say. I love anything.
I was
creature.
gonna ask, do you have rules for it? Because like I feel like, especially like I feel like Mitch will accept a lot more than I will. I feel like
Yeah.
I have like really strict rules for like monsters. Do you?
Boozy
feel
doesn't
you
like
have any of
monster on
those?
monster action. You
No,
don't like
yeah.
monsters fighting monsters. You want monsters fighting white
I also
people.
don't like monsters that talk a lot. I prefer like the silent
Ah.
spookers, you
Oh,
know?
man, I
like-
love monsters that talk.
I don't actually have any rules. I love a chatty monster. I love a quiet monster because when we get to Nightbreed, those guys do not shut up. When we get into I love a quiet monster. I love a Godzilla. I love a tiny creature like in From the Gate. No,
Yes. Preach.
I have no rules whatsoever. If they are kind of not human-esque, or if they have
Mhm.
got like piles of makeup, or if they are based on an animal, if they are kind of an alien, I am all for
You're
it.
there for all of it.
I'm
Yeah,
there for
I'm
all
with
of it.
you, Lindsay.
I have an open church. Like if
Yeah.
you were any kind of weirdo, you go in. I mean,
I'm with
the
you,
Penguin
Lindsay.
was one of my favorite villains of all time in
Oh,
Batman
yes.
Returns, because he's like that again, horny.
He's such a creeper.
You
He's
see
such
his
a
such a
balls.
creeper.
He's playing with his balls the whole time in that movie.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
he bites off a nose of a guy and
Yeah.
he eats raw fish. I mean,
Oh, the raw fish was a game changer for me. So gross.
oh,
And now
so
that's all I
gross.
eat is sushi.
Lindsay,
Well,
I love
yeah, me
putting
too.
you on the spot with these questions. Do you have like a couple monsters that you could be like, okay, to explain, Lindsay, these are the ones I like. Like, is it like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park? It's
T-Rex
Do you
from
guys
Jurassic
consider
Park.
that? Do you guys consider? See, that's the
Yes.
thing. Is like, yeah. So
I
that's
know people
a
don't.
genetically created monster.
Yeah, but see, when I
Yeah.
think of monsters, I think of like, geez, I'm drawing a blank now.
He's never seen one. Actually,
I've never seen a monster.
No, but you can have like something like the monster from The Host, whatever. I can't remember the name of
Yes.
it. But then you can also have like Jeepers Creeper, like the Creepers.
Yeah,
monster.
that see,
So
my
that's what
brain
I'm
went to
wondering. Like,
Jeepers Creepers and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
humanoid monsters,
mhm.
and then also movies like Brian Bertino's Monster, or where like werewolves could be considered monsters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
All the
I
Universal
kind of,
monsters.
yeah, I'm considered vampires monsters. So
But they got to go a certain level of like weird to be able
They
to
do.
transcend vampire to monster.
this is true. Like I would consider the Coppola Dracula a monster.
Yes, and then
Absolutely.
but then you wouldn't consider something like Interview with a Vampire. I don't consider
No.
that a vampire. I consider a vampire movie, not a monster movie.
Yes. So it depends on, yeah, you're right. It depends on the vampire. So it depends on, like, I love a T-Rex. I love the Gary Oldman's Dracula, because I think that is such a monstrous creature.
Yeah.
Super horny as well.
I like the horny monsters, apparently.
Lindsay, this
I
is
love-
our horniest episode ever. You're bringing
I
it
know.
This
Yeah.
is not.
No, I know. I was going to say.
Yes.
I have heard your episodes. I know how horny they can get. No, it's
When we start
I
talking
love-
about Ryan Gosling, that's when it gets really horny.
How could you not? I mean, seriously, those baby
Mhm.
clothes. Mothra. I love Mothra.
Yes,
I
there we go.
love. Yes. I love even in Jurassic, the A Lost World. Those little creeper guys that keep like they're in the long grass. They're like
Compsognathus?
tiny. Yes.
Yeah.
Those guys are awesome. I love the oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on it. The xenomorph from Alien.
Oh yeah,
Um,
baby. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like that's a monster movie to me.
That is
too.
a monster. That is a monster movie to me. And yes,
Yeah.
I am using basically anything that is creature-like to say
And
it's a
The
monster.
Thing.
And the thing, yes, because the one thing I love about monster movies is that you can incorporate all genres within the monster movie. It just doesn't have to be an attack
Yeah.
movie. They can do anything. I mean, we've got 3 completely different examples of different monsters and what they can do. I love when monsters are the good guys. I love it when they're the bad guys. I love it when they just
Okay, so
hanging
you're
out
all,
in the
like,
corner.
I prefer like a bad monster. I really
Yeah.
don't want to like ride the monster and him be on your team.
I'm a
Yeah.
I don't want to
I'm-
be like Atreyu with the riding
Yes.
the thing.
Yeah.
Atreyu. Yeah. That
So, yeah, 'cause
isn't Atreyu the land that they go to? I can't
No,
remember.
Atreyu's the kid.
Is that the kid's name? In
Yeah.
I have not seen that movie in forever, and I think it's because I do not want to go back to the Swamp of Sadness.
Oh man, I was so
can't.
that movie fucked me up just the same way the Labyrinth did, but less
Yeah.
dicks.
Yes.
There's less
Yes.
dicks in that one.
No, I
Unfortunate.
still remember seeing Return to Oz for the first time, and actually, we were watching it at a birthday party. Me actually having to leave the room because I was just like, "Wheelers, fuck off!" Like that is not okay at all. So yeah, I kind of just love movies like that, and I think I'm going to I call them monster movies, even though I don't necessarily know that they are. But anything that is fantasy creature related,
Mhm.
kind of like I love anything Lovecraftian, like The Thing, and I
Yeah.
just
Love
recently watched
the cosmic horror. I
Yeah.
also love
Yeah,
cosmic horror.
I watched Dagon for the
Dagon,
first time, and
yes.
I was like, "Fuck, this movie rules."
Yeah, I just did that one recently too. Like I don't think I'd
Yeah.
ever seen it before, and I watched it with shout out Jeff Drake. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was super fun.
I think it was one of those movies I said, "Oh no, I've totally seen Dagon. Never seen it for some reason." I'm watching it. I have never seen Dagon before. That I would have remembered that.
Yep, totally. No,
Yeah.
I am very, very proud of us for this triple because I feel
Yeah.
like we actually do cover a lot of ground
Mhm.
here.
Mm.
So the monster subgenre obviously is huge. Like there's so many things that could constitute a monster movie. But let's start off by talking about The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which is just a movie that the reason I chose it is because I want to see more Ray Harryhausen. And I feel like he's kind of one of the pioneers of this genre that I've grown to love so much, but I don't have a lot of experience or
catalog.
I don't have a lot of knowledge on
Mhm.
the Ray Harryhausen. Like, of course, I've seen Jason and the Argonauts and stuff like that. Like, I saw that a long time ago. But I've been really wanted to go back and watch it. And I'll just lead us off here by saying, like, I loved Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Obviously, this is one of those movies that's very much a product of its time. And there are spurts, like there is chunks of this movie that I think do not go anywhere. Like, they just feel very bland, and it's like kind of it's all exposition in senses that they're breaking new ground here by making this. Like, this is like, it's so obvious that this was such a inspiration on movies, like even The Thing from Another World, like the Howard Hawks film, and all the films that I've grown up loving, this precedes it. And even Jurassic Park, especially Godzilla. And that's why I'm very, very happy that I finally sat down to give it a look, because this was a blind spot for me. And I think that there's like, it's one of those things where I don't want to have a boring conversation of me saying, yeah, some of it's dated, but it's like, but really some of it is kind of, the pacing is a little bit off for me, but the parts that hit so fucking hard. And this would pair very, very well with our friend Daniel Epler, who's doing the Cobwebs podcast, who's doing like a 50s drive-in series all month. Like, this to me lives right next to something like Them, which I was on talking with Chris Hurtado and Daniel about. I love those types of movies. I love this, like, these really creative, ingenious ways of making huge monsters come to life with, miniatures and forced perspective and all these really cool filmmaking things that this movie pioneers in a lot of ways. And I think that you're watching it stumble through finding out how to do this, but the parts that hit so well. I love it.
It is, because I was talking to Daniel about this. When you first watch 1950s monster movies or 1950s drive-ins movies, it is, you really do have to get your head in a certain kind of mindset, because there's a lot of exposition, there's a lot of downtime. They're trying to over explain everything because they don't want to lose the audience. Beast 20,000 I can never say this title.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
The Beast is so good. I mean, and I think it gets forgotten of how important it is, because I was doing a little bit of reading on it, and they made it because they reissued King Kong into the theater, and it did well again. And they're like, maybe a giant monster movie could work. Yeah. And then because they made that, it gave Toho the excuse to, okay, we'll do our monster movie.
Yeah, totally.
And we'll put that in production, and then because we know it can actually work. I think the original Godzilla is a better movie than 20,000 Fathoms.
Agreed.
Because that is just about the absolute destruction. I mean, he just like messes up New York a little bit. He doesn't really do that much damage. He's actually quite a polite dinosaur. But it is so incredible. I mean, when this movie hits, it hits so well. And the way that the director uses stock footage, especially with the shark and the octopus, and there's the stock footage of just New York City in like the early 50s, or probably late 40s, early 50s, it gives this movie a texture that I don't think other movies from this time period have. And it kind of feels very kind of slapped together almost, but that's where its charm is. And then that's not even talking about the Harryhausen effects, which are freaking incredible.
Oh, it's unreal. Absolutely unreal. Buzi, like, this was a first time watch for you as well?
Yeah. Yes, big time. I like that you mentioned Daniel, because I still think that when we did those classic monster movies, there was like some of my favorite episodes we've ever done, and actually looking in depth at stuff like that. And this got me most excited out of anything we were talking about, just because it is an older, because it was 53.
Yeah, 53.
Yeah. And I feel like I've slowly gone back and trying to been watching like movies from past decades more and more. Like, I find a lot of interest in that, especially with Tubi. Tubi is great for that. And they have thousands of these movies with these brilliant covers too. That's what I loved about like the rich artwork. And it's like, yeah, I really enjoy digging into these. And this one was fantastic. There was so many cool things in here. I think like, and so many standouts. I think the submarine scene was so fantastic. And you're right. It reminds me so much of Godzilla, all this stuff, but in such a fun way. I have to say that one of my favorite scenes, and it has nothing to do with the overall story. It's just when the dinosaur is going through the city, it randomly picks up a car at one point, and there's like a 2-second scene of a guy just holding a steering wheel being like, oh, and then you never see anything again, and you never see anything happen to him. So I just love that they just show him for 2 seconds, because he's never shown before either. It's like, oh.
Yeah. No, he does look mildly surprised to be picked up.
But I do think that, yeah, the story could have been streamlined in that it just felt like they kept going back and forth to the middle of the ocean, and then it would just go back and be in New York. I feel like if it just would have came to New York right away, it would have been a lot more fun. They also mentioned how the monster went over into Canada, and they kept saying it went to somewhere in Nova Scotia, but it was actually Newfoundland. My girlfriend was offended.
No, actually, I noticed with the stripple is that it kind of covers the same ground geographically.
It is
because
so
he's up in the
Canadian.
Arctic. It is, and then he goes into Canada, hangs out in there. These like fishermen are just like, yeah, there was a monster. What of it? I'm not. Don't talk to me about it. And then they go down into New York, and that's when everyone kind of freaks out. But then when we get into Prophecy, that's all in Maine, which they mention Maine in thing.
But it's all shot in BC.
It's all shot in BC.
Yeah, it's all shot in BC, and then Nightbreed, Calgary.
And then Nightbreed, which even though it has David Cronenberg, I keep forgetting is all in Canada, which it should, because David Cronenberg doesn't leave Canada to do anything. No. So if you have to go to him, so it's this amazing.
Except Crimes of the Future, which might be one of the reasons why it sucked.
It does not have that Canadian special
charm
sauce.
To it.
Yeah. It doesn't have the poutine. Is that
no, exactly? Yeah, poutine. Yeah. Yep, that's what we're known for. Poutine and igloos.
Yes. Can tell I have never been to Canada
poutine,
yet.
igloos are ready to
yes,
you will be.
Yes, I will be. Yeah. One thing that COVID destroyed is like, I'm gonna go to Canada. No, you're not going anywhere. Damn it.
No.
It's this kind of really kind of cool blending of these kind of geographical things. In Canada actually focused, it was a lot of Canada. But no, I love the fact that it goes into Canada, and I was just like, Nova Scotia. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That looks like a sweet town. And then you say it's actually Newfoundland. I'm like,
yeah, the town that they mentioned, it's like, no, that's actually a different place. But yeah, I think that it's also really exciting that this has a roller coaster ending. If you're thinking about with how ambitious this is, just in terms of what it's showing, and then all the set pieces stuff, like you have a fiery roller coaster that two people have to go on top. It's great.
This is how I need Halloween Ends to end. I
need a roller coaster.
I need Laurie Strode on a fucking tank or a roller coaster with a bazooka, like what they're doing in this movie.
That is the only way they can destroy Michael Myers, because I think I'm a little worried, because I think Ends has kind of backed them into a corner a little bit, and I'm kind of interested to see like a massive corner. And I'm going to be interested to see of how they decide to get out of that corner, or if they're just going to go the Dominion route and just go, here, locusts. And I'm just it's going to be.
We can't deal with Michael Myers. Our crops are being ruined by locusts.
Yes.
There's bigger issues.
Yeah, there's bigger
issues we need to
fry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so the special effects are just so fucking stellar. Like, it's so cool looking back on it now, and like seeing how so many things that I've loved over the last, my entire
see the
lifetime.
roots of it.
Yeah, you totally do. And like, I know that this isn't I hope I didn't make it sound like this was the very first one to do it, because obviously like King Kong and stuff like that predates this, but I feel like this movie really, really solidified the whole, like, it's treated pretty straight face. Like, to me, this is like a natural jumping off point for like the thing from another world, like the original, The Thing. It has a lot of like similar threads to it, but it's great. I love Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, but it is the most difficult title I've ever had to say.
It's insane.
Titles used to be so fantastical, and now we have just a bunch of movies that are all named the same thing.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about I made one list on Letterboxd, and it's called The Intruder List. And I'm trying to watch every single film that's called Intruder, and there's like 60 some.
Did you watch the Sam Raimi one yet?
It's on my list, but I haven't.
So yeah, no,
There's so many.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember, and I think I actually saw shout out Daniel Epler, who also is the world's best on the internet talking about movies. Like he's just that dude blows everyone out of the water for just
he really does
content, and also just a natural ability to be able to speak about films. Like he's so intelligent and such an astute film watcher. So he makes it hard to talk about these movies that he normally covers on his show, because it shows how shitty we are. But no, yeah, what I was getting at, I think he watched Intruder, but I love Intruder, with the Sam Raimi film.
I saw it for the first time last year, and it is so much fun. It is just it's a hoot from beginning to end.
I can't wait to get to it eventually. In my Intruder list.
It might not be, but I'm going to say it might be the best Intruder movie out of the 60 plus movies called Intruder.
Oh, I also included anything that was The Intruder. So it's not just Intruder. So I also have to say that if you want to check out some cool artwork, the artwork for this film, people have made some really cool shit. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just check out like alternate artwork for films, and like the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, whatever, has some really cool. And they have one, I think I posted on my Instagram, and it's like a picture from that submarine scene, but it's like outside, like what it would look like more. It's like stuff like that. I think this is so cool. I kind of want to like, I would love to rewatch this film, not anytime soon, but I think it's like, it was fun enough and I enjoyed it enough at the end that I would love to watch it again.
No, it's got a really cool popcorn feel to it. But what I love about it is Ray Harryhausen, again, another hard name to say. He somehow, even back in 1953, I don't think this was his first movie exactly, but I think it was one of the big first ones that got him so much more work. He's able to give these guys, his creatures, personality. I mean, that dinosaur has so much personality. He is not impressed with what he finds in New York at all.
And he hates lighthouses.
And he hates lighthouses.
Fuck lighthouses.
He really goes to the lighthouse.
What if that was just what happened in the lighthouse halfway through the movie? Just this dinosaur out of nowhere just blows it up.
Man, we're getting to that point where that's going to be original content. That would be amazing. I would love that.
Yeah.
But we all know, well, where do we really know Ray Harryhausen from? Let's be honest here. It's Monsters, Inc. Ray Harryhausen's?
Yeah, that's actually... Yeah, that is actually where
we're cinephiles here at the Terror Table.
Yes, we are. No, I do remember seeing, I didn't know it was Ray Harryhausen, but I do remember seeing Jason the Argonauts when I was really young, like way too young to be seeing those skeletons. But I didn't know that was the guy who did everything else. Yeah. So it was much later on, and I'm like, oh, so he did like Sinbad and the Golden Tiger, and he did this, and I think it came from, I did a few like bottom of the sea kind of creatures as well. He's done a whole shit ton of stuff. Yeah. It's actually kind of incredible. Like he was who did the Star Wars effects that became really big for like 20 years? Light and something effects.
Oh my god.
He was that guy.
Yeah.
He was that guy, and he was doing it single-handedly. I mean, the patience on that man to do the stop motion
that's what I mean though. It's like, I'm a huge fan of stop motion animation. Yeah. So like stuff like this just hits different. Like it hits really.
Yeah, like I wish we could see more stuff like this like today to use some of like Mitch was saying with the forced perspective. This was so much fun, and all the stop animate, like it blended together really well. And for a film that came out so long ago, how many is it? 80 years, something like that, like
70.
It's 70 something.
Yeah.
But just like for something like that to look so like that good, I honestly, I've seen a lot worse shit that came out in like 2000.
But have you seen Clash of the Titans with Sam Worthington?
I have actually. I went to see that at Rainbow Cinemas.
Oh god.
They made a sequel to that.
Oh man. Yeah, they did Wrath of the Titans.
Oh no.
I remember thinking there's no way it could be worse. Oh boy.
Double down.
Yeah, no. I don't want to. One of the joys of us doing three feature films in our in this discussion is I want to keep moving forward through the other ones, because I'm going to start, we can really get the meat out of the films, and I feel like we've kind of done that with the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I know there's going to be some people who are going to be pushing up their glasses and being pissed, like there's so much more you could talk about. But no, we got plenty of more monster movies to talk about. But Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, I definitely recommend checking out nowadays, especially if you're in the mood for something like those 50s sci-fi monster movies. And there's some really, really cool effects.
As some true monster files, I feel like this is a good addition to my brain watchings. I enjoyed it.
No, 50 monster movies are friggin' fantastic, and Fathoms is one of the best.
Why didn't we call it Fathoms? That's so smart. We should have just called that from the
Ben Affleck's Fathoms. Oh wait, that's Phantoms.
That's actually a really weirdly fun movie. I don't know why. It's like the most 1998 movie ever, Dimension movie ever made. And
Lindsay, you're doing such a good job at keeping up with Mitch on references, because Mitch sees so much shit that I've never seen, and you're just like,
it's because Lindsay knows way more about films than I do. Like straight up. And like that is like you were talking about, like 90s Dimension movies. Like I roped that in with like The Faculty and stuff like that. And I love The Faculty. But
Faculty is again great monster. Technically I'm gonna say it's a monster movie, The Faculty, because there are tentacles in that movie, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely, there are definitely there's some major
full of them.
There's some major thing references in that. But okay, so Lindsay
there is too.
Lindsay will be back on for our episode on Phantoms.
Yes.
But let's go on to Prophecy from 1979. So Buzi, can you give us a little bit of a rundown about what this film's about, why you chose it? And I'll pull up all the semantics. I'll get the director and blah, blah, blah.
Short story. Let's just break it down for you. It's a eco horror movie, which I think that we could always use more of, because it's trying to say something. So the whole point of this film is I don't know what exactly this guy's job title is. It's like a lawyery kind of deal, but he's
a lawyer of the ocean,
and
lakes and forests.
So
and inner city apartments.
And inner city apartments,
because of rat bites.
This is one of those movies though, like his character, he truly makes it seem like his job title spans so huge that it's like, I remember watching as a kid, I'm like, wow, there are people who he must just be a scientist. Scientists do everything. And it's like that's kind of what
stuff.
He does.
But it's just about them going to investigate some animal attacks that have gone on, and kind of like the ecological damage that this area is taking over. And then there's also, what do they call them in this? OPs. There's some original people is what who are trying to defend their way of life and the rainforest. Anyway, it's just about dealing with that and the consequences of running a pulp mill.
Well said.
Yes.
Directed by John Frankenheimer, who also directed the original, like The Island of Dr. Moreau.
R.I.P.
He's also dead. Yes,
I actually looked it up. He's
well, I just know because you let us off on such a high note with everyone in Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is dead. But Island of Dr. Moreau from 1996. He directed that film. He did a couple other. He did French Connection 2, which is a movie that everyone
this time it's French.
Hey, do you want us to actually talk about the good movies that John Frankenheimer did?
I Walk the Line. Would that be considered one? Let's talk about the good John Frankenheimer movies here. Lindsay, help me out.
Seconds. He did The Manchurian Candidate.
Manchurian Candidate's a huge one.
You're killing this.
I am gonna say Reindeer Games, because I love that movie, even though I know that's not his best movie.
Which movie?
Reindeer Games.
Fuck! I love Reindeer Games.
Going back to freaking Ben Affleck and he wanting that goddamn pecan pie.
Right. Yeah. Man, that's a movie that movie grew on me substantially after a recent rewatch, because it is so much fun. But and Charlize Theron, one of my first boners. Like that was that movie was incredible. And he did Ronin with De Niro. Good one.
No, he is such a weird director, because he will make things like The Manchurian Candidate, and then he'll make Prophecy. And then he'll make Walk the Line, and I can't remember the name, but it's some weird ass, I think it's a weird ass movie that actually says war crimes are good with Samuel L. Jackson. It is like you're just watching it going, this is a bold, weird statement you're making here with this movie.
Yeah.
He has had such a wild career.
Yeah, so like, and Buzi, why did you choose Prophecy though? Because you talked about how it's like an ecological horror movie, and obviously you like that kind of stuff. You like monster movies, but why this one?
I think this one is special in its own way. It does feel very Canadian. I know it was filmed in Canada, but it feels so Canadian. And it feels like I think the story, if they even redid this now, would tell such a cool story, because it is something that actually goes on. And I just thought it was a fun movie. I love the violence in this. I love the creature design. And I don't know, like, ego horror is great.
Eco horror is great. It is, especially in the 70s. This was a first watch for me. I had known about it for ages, but I had never actually seen it. So
this is a second, because the first time me and Mitch watched it, we weren't paying a ton of attention.
We were paying attention. We were just smoking that dro, baby.
Yeah.
This was one of those times, though. This was like we were three or 4 years into the Terror Table, so it wasn't even that. Not that long ago. I feel like it was within the last 2 years that Buzi and I got together. We're like, let's just watch a crazy movie. And you look at the poster of Prophecy and you're like, oh my God, this movie wants to be Alien. But it came out the same year as Alien. Or wait, no, the year after Alien. Man, did we have fun watching this the first time. And I watched it alone this time, so I can now speak on it as a film. And it's a great film.
I'm surprised. I thought you guys didn't like it.
I love it.
I like it. I like it, though. I have never wanted a main character to be eaten more as I did in Prophecy. I mean, this movie is really fun. It's got this kind of amazing Frankenheimer thing where everything seems really classy, but everything in the film is so schlocky. It's amazing. Yes. That bear is incredible. Those cubs are incredible. I love Talia Shire in this movie. I mean,
I love that there's like a myth involved with all of this. And they add like so much more culture to it. It's not just a bear being a bear. I don't know.
No, it is. It does attempt to sort of mix in the indigenous people's kind of mythology with this bear. Yeah. But then you put Amanda Sante in it, and things go very large very, very quickly. Because that's what you do when you put Amanda Sante in something. But just to have him play an indigenous character, I'm just like, oh, this, okay. Nothing about you says this. You are Latino, I think. And this is
are you trying to say Hollywood doesn't always get that right?
No, I think I am. I mean, they don't do it. I mean, admittedly, they get it right a lot, but in this case, I don't think they quite got it.
Yeah. But there's some, like those are my exact thoughts on this film too, is that like the social commentary in this movie is rich, but it gets lost in the schlock. And personally, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like this is what I want. Like there are moments in the film where it's about to take itself way too seriously, and then it's completely fixed with the schlocky monster effects and the bear throwing the fucking the what's
sleeping
it called?
bag.
The sleeping bag kill, where it shoots the sleeping bag across the fucking scene.
That's amazing.
And it blows up into a burst of feathers. This to me is like so enjoyable. This is like one of my like top ones where it's like, if I'm gonna have some friends over to have some drinks and watch a movie where they're not gonna have to take it too seriously, Prophecy is a great choice, because the social commentary, all the like heavy stuff, they get out of the way fairly early on, but even those parts are schlocky and funny as hell. Like the raccoon, the tadpole, it's so over the top and ridiculous. And I
forgot about the tadpole. It's just this.
I forgot about the tadpole as well. It's massive, and it's like, that's not a tadpole. Yes,
and it's just leg. So it's like, wait, that could be a big frog. Wait for it.
The whole explanation of it is like, what's the only liquid that doesn't sink or something like that? It's mercury.
I kind of like that they at least try to explain. They're not just like chemical X is in the water.
Oh baby, this is the good version of Chernobyl Diaries. Like this is like the Chernobyl, like this is the effects of actual radiation and pollution and mutation among like wildlife. And so it ticks off a lot of boxes for, I know, admittedly, Buzi and myself, like we'd love like nature run amok movies. So this one hits a lot of soft spots for me by being able to do that. And then also put it all into a bear.
It really does. It's kind of got this, it reminded me so much of what Poltergeist would do a few years later. It's like, you took away the tombstones, but you left the bodies. It kind of had that thing when he's yelling at the guy, you left the mercury at the bottom of the lake. And it does go into that whole ecosystem of like, oh, the fish eat the mercury, then they get eaten by everything else. And it kind of sort of goes up the chain to you get that friggin' crazy ass bear. And those cubs are so disturbing. They look like something out of The Suckling. It's just
yeah. That's what
we need more Suckling references just in life.
I was thinking this actually would pair well with kind of Suckling, because this is just disturbing, but it's it's just this weird kind of thing. You're just watching this going, they made this. It's I straight up hated the main character. I do have his name.
Foxworth or something.
Foxworth or something. He is like the ultimate. I'm surprised he just isn't wearing a t-shirt saying "White Savior." Because
right, Robert Foxworth. Robert Foxworth. He plays Rob.
Yeah, plays Rob. And even you start with his girlfriend saying, who friends have to comfort her because she's worried her boyfriend is going to make her get an abortion.
Oh my God,
that's how this movie opens.
Yeah. Because he does not want that baby.
He does not want that baby. And so she's going to have to, it's insane. And then they have the conversation of when you find out that she's eaten the salmon and it's all about mutated babies. And she's like, I hate that salmon. You dragged me out here and I hate the salmon. There were so many
and thus Mitch and Buzi were born.
I'm a salmon child.
Yes, you're a salmon child.
We're dirty mercury salmon toilet babies.
But I love how melodramatic this movie is. It's insane. It just takes it up to 12 every single time when it has no need to, but it does.
It's cinema, baby. This is.
I like all the attention they put on to actually having like cool kills in terms of like if somebody gets like pawed or something, their face is actually like just mangled. I can't remember the one guy at the end who goes to try and kill the bear and it just whacks him away, and they show like a quick thing of his face and it's just like half gone. Or like the bear like decapitates the one guy who was riding on the roof of the truck.
It really, really is. It is, and everyone just when it whacks someone, they go flying. Yes. It's not just like a they've got hooks on their thing and they are just being pulled like backward and like crashing into things. Yeah. That bear has absolute strength. It is
let's just call it what it is.
Absolute delight.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is. It's pure filmmaking, baby. Like when that fucking sleeping bag skyrockets across the screen and explodes into feathers. That is what it's all about.
I think they're actually go ahead.
Yeah, I love how the fact that you don't see the kid's body in it, because you're just looking, oh my God, what does that poor kid look like?
It's just every bone.
Yeah, it's just all the feathers, but you're like, every bone in that poor boy's body has been broken.
Yeah, that's Jello.
It's Jello now.
I do appreciate that. I feel like a lot of times they do have some restraint in terms of showing the bear, or they'll trick you right away. I like
until the last like 20 minutes.
No, I thought like well, no, that's your climax, obviously. Yeah. But I mean, before then, they have like the one guy who's wearing like a bear jacket is walking through the woods, and you think it's the bear, and everyone's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then the bear actually shows up. I think the coolest one is when they're driving in that truck and they have the spotlight, and they're going through, and you're trying to see where it is, and you actually see it for like 2 seconds. And it's like, hold on, go back to that. And the bear's like, fuck it, I'll just flip the vehicle instead. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, this is I honestly I really enjoy this movie. I think it's a ton of fun, and it feels so Canadian. Like I want to like hold it and cherish it.
It's extremely Canadian.
Yeah, and even though it is not meant to be set in Canada, it's got a few Canadian actors in the background because it was shot there. Mm-hmm. But this is not everything it goes, we're in Maine. I'm like, are you sure you're in Maine? Because I'm pretty sure you're in Canada right now.
When Stephen King talks about Maine, it doesn't look like this.
No.
Also, can I just say, I don't know how, like, Lindsay, do you have more to talk about with this one? Tell me how much you enjoyed it. Because if not, we can talk about the cliffhanger awesome ending, how I want a sequel to this, and then we could talk about
we need a Prophecy 2 like we had a Grizzly 2. No,
yes.
I had a love and hate relationship because I was kind of getting, you kill Rob, someone kill him now. I don't like him, he's annoying. He's I mean, but this movie's intense. I mean, when they hold a chainsaw, a flinging chainsaw to Amanda Monte's neck, not because he's doing anything, it's because they're blocking the road. They do not want cars, which is basically saying, hey, there's some shit going on in the forest, don't come in here.
Yeah, it's not take down these trees, because
take down these trees is America. And
take down these trees, eh?
And what they do is they hold, yes, it's Canada. I can't imagine a Canadian would be doing it a lot more politely or passive aggressively, depending, because I'm New Zealand. I know how passive aggressive.
Yeah, we'd be like, "Hey, buddy, get out of the way, friend."
Yeah, we'd be just subtweeting them.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what a New Zealander would do. We'd be subtweeting them. No, they're just like chainsaw to the throat, and I'm just like going, whoa, this movie escalated so goddamn quickly.
It does. It escalates so quick right off that scene. Oh man, it's so funny because that's the classic, like, we're gonna stand and what's that type of protest where they just like sleep in front of something so that they can't bulldoze it? Like, that's basically what this is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what is that called?
It's not
I wish I could do that. I would just show up and nap places.
You're not like taking my Arby's.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, Prophecy's a gem. I think we got to be crystal clear here that Buzi and I are just like kind of stands for this kind of schlock. And it's definitely, this is not one of those movies that I think everyone's going to enjoy. Because it is like, it can be infuriating at times. But for me, it just wasn't, because I just love that bear.
The bear is awesome, and is also apparently the guy who wore it also would go on to direct a little movie called Friday the 13th Part 6.
Oh, what? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was on
6 again.
The good one.
Is that Manhattan?
No, that's a good one. Jason Lives.
Jason Lives.
Yeah, that's
Tom McLeod.
Yes.
I heard him on an interview of like Shockwaves years ago, and he was talking about how he got his start. He goes, I was the bear in Prophecy, and I tried to suggest something to Frankenheimer, and he told me to fuck off.
Yeah, Tom McLaughlin.
Tom McLaughlin, yeah.
That's crazy.
Hey, maybe if I do this while I'm in my bear costume, he's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut the
That's pretty much what happened. It was like, shut the fuck up, bear. Just do what I tell you.
Do bear stuff.
Yeah, do bear stuff. But it is a gem of a movie, and it's got that sort of special pocket of eco horror in the 70s, which I love. I mean, if you like Grizzly, if you like anything Ed Wexley and Gilda made, you're gonna love Prophecy, because it is that, but it's got the sheen of, we're making a social commentary movie, and then the things happen in Prophecy, and you're just like, it flies out the window so quickly. It
just turns into a wild, bonkers monster movie.
I don't know if it would be in kind of that same thing, but I almost feel like it was like a couple decades earlier version of like how I feel about like Lake Placid or like Deep Blue Sea, where it's kind of like one of these.
I think those were meant to be funny. I don't think Prophecy was meant to be funny.
No,
I would lump it all in that same, where it's like these kind of,
I do love those other movies,
so like monster movie.
Yeah. No, I would agree that this movie would pair well with those. I don't think that this movie's heart was in the place that those movies, but it would play very well next to those ones, which are movies that I love as well.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Mitch. This movie is so serious about itself that you can't help laughing at it, because you're like going, you just realized you threw like a sleeping bag and made it explode. This is a movie where a guy gets his face ripped off. It's a thing where a bear flips over a car. There are so many crazy things in it that this is not, even though I think it's actually trying to make a very serious environmental point, and the fact that it is talking about even displaced peoples, it is talking about corporate greed, it's talking about pollution, it is talking about a woman's choice, it is talking about so much stuff that does not it loses all that when you see the bear for the first time.
To me, that explains what I love so much about this era and this genre, though, is that I love that their hearts are in the right place, And I don't want this to come across as a diss to Prophecy, because it absolutely will, but it's a failure. Like it failed, but that's why I like it. Like that's why that's why I enjoy it, is that like it seems like it's taking itself so seriously, but then what we get out of it is just a super fun romp. Like it's just ridiculous. But I'm a big fan of Prophecy. I love it. Do you guys want to get on to our last one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we got to make sure we don't have, because we've been working really hard on not having 3-hour episodes, but at the same time we're like, let's do triple features. But let's talk about Lindsay's choice, which was Clive Barker's Nightbreed. I believe this was 1991.
I feel like we haven't done a ton of Clive Barker.
The only one we've done was Hellraiser.
Yeah.
This surprises me, because I was sort of looking through when you sort of said, hey, what monster movie you want to do? I kind of had a paralyzing, I went completely paralyzed with fear. I went, fuck, what monster movie do I pick? And then what monster movie haven't you done?
It's the year of your boy.
Yes.
I came out of the womb this year.
Oh shit. Not only were you born from Dirty Salmon, you were born from Midian.
Stinky butt Dirty Salmon.
I was born from Midian. Yeah. I was actually murdered, and then I was brought back to life in Midian.
Exactly. That is how it goes.
Lindsay, why did you choose Nightbreed, besides the fact that we have an embarrassingly low amount of Clive Barker on our feed? Other than that, why did you choose Nightbreed?
Because it had all the monsters. No, I think it was going back to the fact that I like, okay, what kind of monster movies do I like? Oh shit, I like all of them. What kind of monster? Oh fuck. Okay, I'm just gonna go Nightbreed because I haven't seen the director's cut yet, and I think it'd be kind of cool. And hell, let's just do Nightbreed. It was a very kind of quick, oh shit, what do I pick? Oh, what haven't you done? I like Nightbreed, let's do Nightbreed. It is very so that's kind of why I picked it. And then watching the movie, I kind of realized, oh yeah, I love Clive Barker. Like I was kind of surprised that, because you guys seem like big, like you would like Clive Barker a lot, but yet you haven't done a lot of him. And I was like,
we've tried to do like weird shit. We've tried to stay
Clive
away
Barker's
from
all weird shit. Like that's I will say, like I watched Lord of Illusions again before, because like I wanted to, like I got in the Clive Barker mood after Nightbreed.
It is a mood. He is a mood. He is an absolute. This is not. I was thinking, oh, he is more of a mood than he is sort of maybe a monster movie. But there's something about the occultism, the woo-woo kind of thingy of it that I absolutely love, and it runs all through his movies. And I was just watching it going, you know what, fuck it, I'm a huge Clive Barker fan, and I really love Nightbreed. And this was this the movie Nightbreed was like on the same set as Batman Returns? Is that it was like right beside? Either way, that's just a weird piece of shinfo I think I found. Shit info. That like this was being made on the same lot, like right next to the studio that was doing Batman Returns. And it's just so weird thinking about these types of bonkers ass movies being made at this time. That explains a lot about me, actually. If those two kind of swear to that sort of proximity DNA, I'm like, oh, this explains so much.
Yeah. No, and I love Batman Returns.
Yeah, me too.
I'll admit, I am a new-ish Clive Barker fan. Like I'm the kid who I saw Hellraiser too young to be able to understand it. And to me, it felt like Days of Our Lives, or like movies that my mom or like shows like from Young and the Restless, because it has that like daytime drama aesthetic to it, and then extreme gore, which really grossed me out and scared me as a kid. And now I honestly think Hellraiser is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Like I love Hellraiser.
Oh, the very image of Pinhead used to give me nightmares. Like I remember going to the video store we used to go to when I was a kid, and you had to pass the horror section. Yes. And I would always see that cover of Pinhead holding the music box. And I'd go, that movie looks, I've never seen that movie ever. And I only saw it a few years ago. I was at an all-night marathon. Again, I'm a sort of a newer fan of Clive Barker. And they said, oh yeah, we've got the new 4K restoration of Hellraiser. And I went, I guess I'm finally watching this movie then, and fell in love with it. Yeah, because you're right. It has got this high melodrama, but yet it's beautiful, and the gore is so intense, but then it's got this beauty to it, and it's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
a weird thing to
awesome.
call Hellraiser, because it's not, but
Yeah.
I
love Hellbound as well, like Hellbound.
Yeah.
And I like Hellraiser 3 as well.
Me
the
too.
CD
Yeah.
Cenobite. It's fun.
with that amazing weird club in the middle of it. I love it.
Yes. I will admit that, like, because I'm a I was a Scream Factory collector, and they were putting out a lot of Clive Barker's movies, and Nightbreed was one that always slipped past me. And I bought it when I scooped it up when Scream Factory just started kicking, and they were releasing the director's cut. And I've heard all of the legends of like the theatrical cut, and then the director's cut, and then the Cabal cut. And so I picked it up when they dropped it, and I don't mean to be a downer here, but I don't like Nightbreed. I don't like Nightbreed. But I've tried so fucking hard, and it's because I love the sentiment behind Nightbreed. There's so many things about it that I love that I just feel like it doesn't work. And I hate when people say it doesn't work, because it's like, no, it doesn't work for you. Like it'll work for a lot of people, but for me, this is like one of the prime examples of movies where I can feel the studio interference, because they have no idea what kind of movie they want to make here, because it's so heartfelt, and the sentiment is so like it's almost meant to be a horror movie second or third above a movie that just has emotional stakes at it and has a real like a throbbing heartbeat throughout it. And I love all those parts of it, but for me, like, even the director's cut just doesn't work for me.
Did you watch both cuts, the directors and the theatrical, or just did you watch
just the directors?
Just
watched the directors, yeah. And then I know the Cabal cut, which I haven't seen, which I know they released as well now. Like, you can see it. It's an extra 40 minutes. But the problem for me is it's just like, if I already don't love, but you know, it could be like Zack Snyder's Justice League, where I actually like, I like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
You could watch it 4 times in one day, and that's more than 24 hours.
Yeah. But I just feel like it's one of those movies, though, that just, it doesn't land for me, because it's trying so hard to be a slasher movie when it's trying to be so many movies at once. And I normally love that, but it just never pays off. It loses me at a point where it's just so, I feel like I'm confused by what the story is trying to portray. And I take no joy in saying that I'm not a fan.
No, I actually do understand that, because it wasn't until I really liked Nightbreed. I thought it'd be just an interesting thing to talk about. And then I watched the director's cut, and I was like, oh, I think I love this movie because they made it more, they made it a less of a slasher, which the director, because you're right, you can feel, even in the director's cut, you can feel the interference. Like, they couldn't, I don't think this is exactly what Clive Barker wanted. And I haven't even seen the Cabal cut yet. But it was like when I saw the Doctor Strange, the Doctor Sleep director's cut, Flanagan, where it just opened up, and I'm like, oh,
so much better. Yeah,
it's so much better.
I
understand it now. And even though I still don't know why he wants to go to Midian in the first place, even Craig Sheffield with his weird face, I don't understand. But it broadened out the love story more. It made it more sentimental, and it made it more creature focused. And that's kind of what I wanted. Because they made Cronenberg such a thing in the director's cut, which I love Cronenberg in this. He sounds so bored. And I kind of love it. But no, I can understand why, because it is such a confusing movie, and it doesn't give you any indication of why characters are doing things. Even the director's cut, I still don't understand why he was dreaming about Midian, why he wanted to go there in the first place. So it wasn't
just me.
No,
I have no idea what the fuck went on the whole time.
No, there's none. There's absolutely no kind of connective tissue at all.
It's that movie that, like,
I thought I'd missed something. Like, maybe I didn't see the right cut.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I watched, there's an hour and a half making of Nightbreed that I actually watched in preparation for this as well, because I'm like, this is one of those times where I'm like, fuck, I am missing something. I am missing something, because I know that this movie has a fan base, and I'm not the kind of guy that will just be like, nah, it's not for me, I don't like it. Like, I'll at least try and find, and there are things about Nightbreed that I really do like. Like, I like the idea of the film, and I think I can see, I haven't read Cabal, so I don't know exactly what Clive was going for, but I know Clive is way too smart of a human being to make something that just doesn't make sense like this. Like, there's so many there's so many gaps that I'm like, you can't just brush past that and expect us to still be on board with what you're doing. But it's like, but then there's the genius idea of that, like, you know, what's Cronenberg's character's name again?
It's Philip K.
Decker, yeah. So like, I love the idea that he's like the psychologist with Boone, and he's basically convincing him that he enacted all the murders that Decker is doing. But I don't feel like, I'm like, but why does Midian exist at all? And why does the general public know about Midian? And they're talking about it on the news. And it's just like, it's one of those things where I can't buy into the world because I don't feel like they gave it to me enough. Like, and that's why I hate, especially since you brought this to us, Lindsay, just so you know, I've seen this movie many times before you brought it. And I actually do like when we can talk about movies that don't necessarily hit for us, because then we can kind of explain why.
No, I think it's important. You can't love everything. And it's some things are just not for you. And I think this movie it's a messy movie. It has so many faults. I think Clive Barker was never allowed to put what he wanted. It feels, the director's cut feels, I will give it more novelistic than I think, because I kind of skimmed the original of the theatrical today, and whoa, they just butchered that thing. They really just, it gives you less of an idea of what's going on, and then the director's cut, and the director's cut gives you nothing. So imagine what, like, I don't even know why Laurie is hunting Boone in the theatrical. I'm like, you barely know this guy. There's no connective tissue for this massive love story that's meant to happen. Whereas the director's cut does give you a little bit more emotion to it. Like, I really love Laurie and the directors. Yeah. So was this your first time watching Nightbreed, Buzi?
100%. This was my first time. I watched this on Tubi. So I don't know if there's like, is there like a Tubi cut? I think it's his director's cut that's on Tubi, which is the one I watched. But yeah, I kind of have to, this is my first time watching it, and I have to a little bit also kind of go where the route Mitch is. I didn't have a ton of fun watching this. I think once it got to the shootout at the end, I thought that was like a ton of fun. That really had me. But maybe, it was because I'm glad that you guys are also saying, like, I'm glad you guys went first to talk about it, that it is confusing, because I thought maybe it was just me. And I actually was trying really hard to pay attention to this. I was just kind of like, why are we going here? Everybody just feels like a beatnik for no reason. but it reminds me a lot of, this is gonna sound really weird, but there's like a Futurama episode where they go like underground and meet Leela's family and shit. That's what this reminds me of.
I feel like that's gotta be a riff on Little Monsters with Fred Savage as well, which is like, this movie reminds me of like, this is the adult Little Monsters. Do you guys know?
Oh my god, it is.
I have no idea what Little Monsters is.
Okay, Google it right now. Little Monsters with Howie Mandel.
Yes, I haven't seen it in forever.
That was a movie that I loved as a kid, but it scared the piss out of me. And it's not supposed to be. It's essentially Little Monsters is Monsters Inc. live action. It's like Monsters.
This is terrible. I've seen the cover of this.
Yeah, Howie Mandel. And like, but to me, like, and that's why there's so many things about Nightbreed that like I love makeup effects. Like, one of the biggest reasons I'm a horror fan is I love makeup, and I love like effects work, and like that's why, like, even when, and sorry to keep talking about myself in this, but I feel like such a douchebag whenever I bring up the Druid's Hand, but it was like, that was one of the things that was most exciting for me, was being able to be like, I gave our makeup artist a bunch of references of things that I love, and I was like, I remember like on the set of that film, like I watched her do what she did, because I'm the guy who, like, when a new season of Face Off comes out, I'll binge it in an entire day, because I love makeup application and creating monsters, and Nightbreed has some of the best out there. Like, that's why, like, I don't feel like it's a waste to watch Nightbreed.
No, I think that's some of the best stuff it's like a showcase of all these cool ideas and effects.
And I know, Buzi, this is one part where you and I split on, is like, I like monsters with a lot of personality. So like, I like these monsters in Nightbreed. I like that they have personalities, and like, I think that the main problem,
dude with the snake gut. Well, does he have a name?
The dreads, like it kind of looks like dreads.
No,
Yeah.
it just has like those two snakes. The chubby guy that just has two snakes come out of his gut.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, wait, is that fucking what's Hellraiser? Pinhead. Doug Bradley's, because he plays.
Is that Doug Bradley?
I know he's in it. Yeah, he's definitely in this, and they dubbed him, which I got very angry about. No, yeah, Doug Bradley is in this. I think he's the head of it. He's gonna go with the gills on the face.
Dirk.
Oh, yeah.
Dirk,
Yeah.
No, it's kind of like how I'm a huge Guillermo del Toro fan, and to me, this is similar to Mimic, where it's like I can see a lot of things that I like about Mimic, but I can see more of him being fucked with than anything. Like I can see Guillermo being held back. But with Clive, it feels almost worse than Mimic, because it's like he has these incredible ideas. He's a brilliant mind. And the movie just makes me feel like it's just watching someone work for someone who has no faith in him and no understanding of what he's trying to do, because the monsters aren't supposed to be scary. They're not supposed to be the monsters in the movie. Like Decker's the monster. And I feel like that just is lost in even in the director's cut. So like that's why I'm not the biggest fan of Nightbreed, but I am curious to see the Cabal cut. But it's one of those things where I've tried so hard. This is the one where I'm like, I want to be a fan. I so badly want to be a fan of this one.
No, I love the director's cut because you see more than mysticism in there, and I got a sense of the more of the community of it.
Yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, oh no, I think I do like this. It kind of reminded me of going back to Guillermo del Toro in Hellboy too, when they go into that kind of cool market.
Yeah, incredible.
And it's just all these creatures. Yeah. It did remind me a little bit of that. And though I think because maybe I'm just more accepting of the fact that this movie got so fucked with that I can kind of see the little bits of him popping out. I'm like, oh, yes, that's what he wanted to do.
Right.
Yes.
You're like living for those moments. Yeah.
I'm living for those moments, even though the first 20 minutes of this movie make no sense whatsoever.
Oh my God.
It is just a series of scenes here. I still don't know who the guy is who cuts his face and what exactly he is. He looks cool, but I still don't know what he has to do.
I feel like a lot of this is just like, hey, does that look cool? Yeah. Okay, throw it in there. All right, we got it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, though, is like you look at the amount of detail that they put into each of these monsters, and to not be rewarded with feeling like we know where they come from or why they are the way that they are, we lose so much. And that's why I think that the Cabal cut might be much better. But
I think I want that extra lore to kind of sink into, because that is a cool idea.
Yeah, and it just feels like it just happened so quickly with like Boone is being blamed for all of Decker's murders and stuff like that. It's just like that happens a half an hour into the movie. Like that can be a whole movie on its own. Like that plot, like that's why I think that this movie has so many different stories that are so interesting and so like rich with like there's so many things that we could dig into with those.
It's almost like an anthology at certain pieces.
It kind of is, yeah. Every little scene. I mean, the hospital scene is its own little anthology.
Yeah.
Laurie going to the graveyard for the first time is its own little thing. Even when she meets that woman, Cheryl, I think, who ends up being a victim of Decker, she's got her own story going on. You can tell she's got this whole backstory that you never quite get to know.
And maybe that's the issue.
Yeah.
There should be a TV series, because I know that they actually wanted to remake it with Michael Dougherty. Like he was gonna remake this. And it would be great if we could have like, this is a prime example of something that actually could be useful having an 8-part series. Because there's HBO. There's just so much to it. There's so much to dig into that you just can't possibly all fit into 2 hours. But for a lot of people, like obviously Lindsay, it works for you and a lot of other people. So like that's amazing. I want to be with you.
I just take it as a visual feast. I mean, when I'm in this movie's groove, I mean, I even love Decker's mask.
Oh, I love his mask.
His
kink mask.
Oh, his kink mask his gimp mask is so goddamn great. And when he first appears in that family home, It is horrific.
That's some good slasher stuff right there.
Yeah.
I also love how little Cronenberg tries. Like
Yes.
that's what I like. I love that he's like just there, and he's like,
he is.
But I'm David Cronenberg, and I know that that's gonna be enough. And like it is because it's like, yeah, you're a legend, and it's actually creepy that he doesn't emote a whole bunch. But
even when he's like convincing Boone that he's the murderer, he's like, but you're having these dreams of monsters, but you don't remember these faces. It's just, I love him so much. I mean, I will always love Jason X because he pops up at the beginning and he does the exact same thing. No emotion, no nothing. Yes, we're just going to keep him here and it will be fine. I love it. I love the fact that every time he pops up in something, instantly you know it's Canadian because Cronenberg's not going to LA for anybody. You go to him. I love that when I love when he acts because he is just so himself and
he's just himself.
It's just himself and it's brilliant. And I don't want him to be anything else. I love the fact that he just looks so bored. He's encountering these monsters and he looks bored. It's amazing.
Well, like that's like the brilliance of Cronenberg too, though, is that even listening to him in interviews for Crimes of the Future, watching him just be so calm about everything that, and like all them, you think about the movies that man has made and that he's been a part of, like Nightbreed. It's such a high concept idea, and he's just so chill throughout all of it, as if it's just all normal. And that's what I love about him so much, and that's why I do love his character in this because of that. It's a strange movie, and also I know that the term Nightbreed comes from like that's what the monsters are. That's why when you get bitten and you turn to a monster, you're a Nightbreed. It's not a lot of night in this movie.
They're running around in the day quite a bit, and they try and keep setting up. Oh no, they don't like being in the daylight with that kid who turns into the weird monkey.
They're in the daylight
thing.
A lot.
And they're in the daylight
the jackal boy or whatever.
A lot. Yeah, I mean the hotel takes place in the daytime. The prison sequence takes out in the daytime. I think even the start of the battle takes out is in the daytime. There's a lot of daytime for creatures who are apparently meant to be night creatures. It's
No,
I don't quite know what's going on there.
It's definitely still like it's worth a it's one of those movies that, like, obviously I think out of the three that we've talked about today, this is the one we talked about the most because there's just the most to talk about with Nightbreed. There's so much to dissect there. But is there anything
the most confusing?
It is.
Trust
me to pick the movie that has 3 cuts and all of them are just as confusing. And I'm like, but I like the guy with the weird dreads and the spikes and
you come back, you're here.
You come back, you're here. The guy with the dog and who was also a Cenobite. He was was he the
Chatterer.
Cenobite?
Chatterbox.
Yeah. He was Clive Barker was just bringing all his friends in and kind of getting to make art with his friends, which I know you keep saying, I'm sorry I keep talking about your movie, but God, if I'd made a short movie I wouldn't shut up about it.
Well, it's tough because like I never want to. I listen to podcasts where hosts talk about their own shit more than what I am tuning into to listen to. So I never want to be that guy. But it is like, you know what? I've never made something. So now that I have, I'm like, I'm relating it to like other things that I see now.
You can relate to movies on a different level because you're like, oh, I know what I know what a piece of that is like. I had to.
For better or worse, it does make you watch movies differently. Like, because you do, like, I look at Nightbreed and all I can, to me, it's just like the best example is like Mimic, which I actually do like Mimic, but it's the same thing where it just feels like it was taking like this, Clive is way too smart of a person to have not had all of his bases covered of the questions that I have. And I know that he actually does have those answers, but the studio didn't want us to get them because they didn't care.
No, I love
really heartbreaking
stories when you listen to interviews with both Clive and more Del Toro, because he just goes into absolute detail of what it was like. Clive is a little bit more, they just didn't see the vision. They didn't understand it. They didn't want to do that. Whereas Del Toro was like, no, I had to have arguments about Northam wearing glasses. That is, and that was something I won.
But honestly,
this was hard to make.
but there's characters like David, like I'm talking about real life people, Clive Barker, David Cronenberg, honestly, Stuart Gordon. Like there's those people where it's like they have such outlandish, incredible, amazing ideas. How in the fuck did we ever live in a world where people with a lot of money were like, okay, go make this?
Yes.
So it's like, it's actually it's understandable that the movies were taken away from them, but it sucks so much because then you see movies like, look at John Carpenter's The Thing, which is a movie that just clearly, it's like the same thing could have happened to that movie. I know it was lambasted when it was originally released, but it's such a shame. And like, it always does, it tarnishes my viewing now, which it shouldn't, because I should just watch movies on what we've been given. But it's because I love these people in the genre so much that I just want to see what they're capable of. And obviously I know Clive Barker is he's one of the greats.
Well, we know what Clive Barker is capable of because we've seen Hellraiser, and I haven't seen Lords of Illusion for a while. But I remember really
good.
Not good. Okay.
Good.
Okay, so we know what he's capable of.
Super funny to like that Lord of Illusions, I will say, is worth a watch because like, and especially Buzi, you would love Lord of Illusions because, dude, oh my god, this movie is like Chris Angel meets Seven. but with 90s CGI effects, like from I'm thinking like Lawnmower Man.
The
effects in Lord of Illusions are so funny. Like it's heartbreaking but fucking hilarious. Not good.
Because I haven't seen it for a while, but I do remember it's because of Scott Bakula doing weird stuff, and probably
Scott Bakula. He plays a fucking like Buzi. Do you know who Scott Bakula is? So that's the Quantum Leap guy.
Quantum Leap.
Bakula was a main character in a show called Quantum Leap, but he plays a detective. He plays detective police cop. Like that's who he is. He's the guy who's like, he doesn't know how to hold a gun, and every time he enters a room, he does like the back to the wall. It's like, man, if there was someone in there who wanted to kill you, you'd be dead 10 minutes ago. Like he's like the world's worst police officer, but he's going up against magicians.
And it's got the weirdest guy playing the magician. I think actually this is
the Mummy from the Brendan Fraser The Mummy.
Yes.
I love that guy.
He plays like the really bad teeth guy.
Yeah.
That's what his name was in the credits. Really bad teeth guy. Such an idiot.
It is. It's it's also got Daniel von Bergen, who I most know from Super Troopers.
Yes.
Another great Canadian movie, by the way. It's, oh my god, Famke Janssen's in that? No, it was, I do want to see this movie again because I think I do get a little bit more leeway when it comes to Clive Barker going, okay, I think you're not quite translating what you want, which is why I think he probably doesn't make movies anymore. But he's just like, I'm just going to paint my art.
If you can, Lindsay, you should watch the Scream Factory version because he has like a little essay that plays that you can choose to watch what like a word from Clive before you watch the movie. And he explains like it's the same thing that happened with Nightbreed. He's just like, people, because he was trying to make an LA noir film. But with the horror elements would be secondary, and the horror elements come from magicians. So it's like, no wonder no studio was going to buy into this. Like, there's just no fucking way. But they still greenlit him and let him do it. It's like, so they're just setting him up for failure right from the beginning. Like, it's exactly what he told them he was going to do.
That's the thing, because he told them he was going to do what he was going to do in Nightbreed, and they kept going, but we don't want the monsters to be the good guys. And he's like, I told you this. I told you what was going to be in this movie. Why are you now going, this is too weird?
No.
It's kind of heartbreaking. Hollywood executives, it's like The Predator. They hired Shane Black to make a Predator movie, and then they thought it was too Shane Black. It's like
that movie was perfect. I love that Predator movie. So now all of my opinions about Nightbreed fly out the window.
His characters just disappear in The Predator because the editing was so wonky. It's like, wait, what happened to Courtney V. Vance? Or what is it? Courtney V. Vance in that? He's like, what happened to him? No idea. Okay.
Since I've moved out here, I have become close friends with so many people who worked on that Predator movie, and all of them hate it. And I'm like, you guys are fucking insane. That movie's incredible. And they're like, Mitch, I thought you knew movies. Like everyone, like they don't take me seriously because they know how much I love that movie. It's like people who worked on it hate it. I'm like, fuck you guys. This movie's amazing. This movie rules.
You have no idea what masterpiece you made. No, I have. Oh my god, it's the way that kid like becomes. They just like it's such an 80s concept. Now he's in charge of all the science. It's like no, stop it.
Yeah,
He's
and
10.
you got the machismo army guys, but played by like Tom Jane, who has fucking Tourette's.
Tourette's.
It's like, oh, how did this not turn out well?
Let me think about this for a second.
I have a full one sheet of the Predator, just so you know.
I own the 4K. My partner also loves the Predator, so this is a movie I have sitting on 4K.
It's so good.
Right? Yeah, it's I do enjoy. Look, I love a Predator dog. I'm always gonna love a Predator dog. Predator dog. But some of the choices that they were making in that movie, and then the way they tried to fix them, you just made it worse.
let's cap off with that though, like a quick discussion on an upcoming monster movie, Prey. There's a new Predator movie.
I am so looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So that looks so cool.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the Predator at different time periods fucking with people, and I am all for this. Yeah.
I think that also it helps that they're taking it like it looks like fairly seriously.
Oh, they're taking it very seriously. Like it's not going to be Shane Black's Predator.
No. This ain't your mama's Predator.
Yeah.
Sorry, my partner just opened the door and gave me the thumbs up because we're talking Predator.
Yes. Love Predator. Awesome. All right. Well, no, this was super, super fun. And I feel like it was a big success. We talked about 3 monster films.
We did. And they're all different and interesting. And even if you don't like one of them, or you think there's going to be something in there that you're going to go, oh,
I think there's something. Yeah, there's something for everyone, especially all of us watching these.
Yeah.
Because even though Nightbreed wasn't my favorite, I still had a good time. And I will say, like that end, like I mentioned before, that end last 20-minute gunfight thing, super cool.
Oh,
there you go.
Just awesome. Canadian cops getting super excited about their Tommy machine guns. I thought it was kind of adorable.
What's new?
They love doing that. Yep.
Yeah.
No, just you think it's just the American cops who love guns? No. No.
Just having a small bald man like caressing this like gun and just like going, that's anything very Canadian. I'm like going, that is something I did not expect to see. But apparently real to life.
Yeah, Canada is just like picture every cop is Dudley Do-Right and Brendan Fraser's Dudley Do-Right, but packed with a Tommy gun. That's what we are. But no, this was a blast. Lindsay, where can people listen to Schlock and Awe, which they need to do because it's one of my favorite podcasts. I'm not just saying that because you're here. I'm a huge fan. I love what you do over there. You've been doing some incredible work, and I always love. It's always a delight whenever I see that there's a new Schlock and Awe episode. It's a regular rotation show for me while I'm working.
Thank you. Yeah, if you want to listen to Schlock and Awe, I'm pretty much on all the podcast platforms, I think. But yeah, you can follow me on Schlock and Awe 1 on Instagram and Twitter. And so that will let you know when everything's around. And also, if you want to follow me personally, it's Reading Geek at Twitter.
Reading Geek. Yeah, so follow that.
Okay.
Buzi, any last words before we put you to sleep here?
Yes, I actually have 2 since some news for us at the very end here. So first off, congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche, who just won the Stanley Cup about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, that just happened?
That just finished here.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'd like to say is
also, sorry, I need to cut you off here. The goaltender of the Colorado Avalanche who just won the Stanley Cup, he stole my Age of Empires 2 when I was 12 years old, and I still want it back.
He hit on a bunch of my frids at Hudson's.
Darcy Kemper, if you're listening, I want my Age of Empires 2 back. And also, I saw Gladiator for the first time at his house.
I was like, I don't think he's in Gladiator. No. And then the other thing is, guys, make sure to respect women's reproductive rights.
Yeah.
Yes.
With where we are in the world right now, where you know what side the terror table is on. So
yeah, and don't be like fucking Foxworth, that dickhead in Prophecy.
Yeah,
basically that's the lesson to learn.
Don't be him. Just absolutely do not be him. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Surprise, surprise, the world sucks. But hopefully you guys had fun listening to the Terror Table. We'll be back next week. I believe the next time that you hear from us, because this is going to go up after our dolls episode where we have a killer
You
doll
did
triple
dolls.
feature.
We did dolls.
Yeah, so that should be coming up this week.
Yeah.
By the time people hear this, it'll have already been out. But the only thing that I know about our next episode is our friend Jason Hamill is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about deer skin. So we're trying to find a triple feature for this to fit into, and the best we could come up with is, I'm telling Buzi this live on the air here.
I was gonna say, I didn't know any of this.
We got to come up, each of us have to choose a horror movie about obsession.
Okay.
So I will say that Jason chose deer skin. I have chosen Fred Durst's The Fanatic. So Buzi's gonna have to finally see The Fanatic.
Oh my god.
And we'll find out what Buzi chooses.
Yeah, I guess I have to think now.
Yes, this sounds amazing. I love deerskin.
Oh my god, I just saw it for the first time.
It's
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, killer outfit, total killer outfit.
Killer style.
Killer style. I don't love that director, but give it your full attention. Yeah. Just to let yourself be confused, because with NIGHTBREED, you knew there was stuff that you're missing. In deerskin, it's all out on the table.
Yeah, it's all out on the table.
There is nothing more to you. Yeah, just let yourself go wanting to wear a deerskin outfit. Yeah,
it is. It's a phenomenal piece of work. I'm very excited to talk about that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all so much for listening to another episode of the Terror Table, and we will see you next time on the Terror Table.